put your finger in them.
Yeah, the Mega Blocks that are kind of like Duplo blocks.
They're fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like they almost look like a brick you could clobber somebody with.
Because like there's two types of Mega Blocks. There's the really huge ones and the ones that are basically Legos.
That are just they're basically the competitor of Legos.
Yeah.
I had one. Besides
like
Legos.
You can't afford Legos. How about Mega Blocks?
Besides Legos, I had one called Zach's building toy.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. That sounds like a Eastern European fucking bootleg version of those.
Russian knockoff Legos.
They were flat pieces. They were all flat. They were triangles and squares, and they had like little like crinkly bits that fit together like this.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they were able to like flex when you put them.
So
basically make like.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you could make like a perfect version of like Zeril from Evangelion. Ooh. No, Ramiel. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, see, besides Legos, I had two other real big construction toys. It was Constructs, which are these.
Constructs. Fuck.
Yeah, so Constructs are these. They're these like plastic. They're sort of like I-beams, but they have a little notch, and they fit into these little hubs. There's like one with 4 spokes, then one with 6 that's like a cube, and you'd fit them together like that.
Yeah, I had
that, and I also had the Erector set.
I was just gonna say I had an Erector set. Those things were awesome.
It was the unfortunate victim of Hurricane Sandy, though. My mom was annoyed that dials got destroyed because those are like the original Erector sets.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that we had to get rid of immediately from that, Lincoln Logs.
Good old Lincoln Log. Good old Abraham Lincoln Logs.
I mean, Lincoln Logs were okay, but it's like one thing I can build out of them.
Yeah, well, I would just do like stupid time travel things or whatnot. It was like no way to do that. It's like, they went back in time to like.
See, my brother was the spoiled brat in the bunch. I hope he's not listening. He'll be wanting to thump me for that one. He had those. He was a big Lego guy, but he had those. He had 2 kinds that were really sweet. He had the space stuff.
Yep,
which was awesome, and he had the ice shit, like the polar set or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that was
because it had all like those like orange fluorescent like parts and stuff.
Yeah,
orange transparent chainsaws, which is like a meme on toy.
Which, by the way, as a kid, those things are fucking awesome. It's just like, ooh, this thing it's pretty. It makes colors.
I don't remember which set this was. But it was it was like some kind of underground mining sort of set.
I remember that one.
But it was this huge. It was like this big. This is mech. The dude sits in, and it's got a huge big drill at the bottom, and you could actually move the feet. That was really cool to build once, and then immediately dismantle to build something else.
I had all the M-Tron ones.
You know what was also something really cool? I mean, it was cool and kind of a mysterious concept when you were a kid. The ship in the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd look at it, you'd see like a finished one and be like, "What the fuck? How?" And then you learn how they actually do it. It's like, you take the little thing and you pull it almost like origami or something like.
Yeah, you build this. For all listeners, here's the magic. I'm gonna spoil the magic for the ship in the bottle.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert for ships in bottles. You build the ship with the mast lowered, then you put it in the bottle and use a pair of long tweezers to raise the mast.
Yeah, and you
I saw that on reading.
Or the other thing you do is it comes kind of pre-done like that, and you just kind of like pull a thing and it like almost like a pop-up book goes.
Oh, so speaking of Lego, they're doing an official version of Lego Voltron.
Ooh.
You might have seen my retweets.
No, I actually didn't see that.
It's pretty cool looking. It's not something I would get now, but I could understand the appeal of really wanting that. Yeah, it's part of their Lego ideas where it's basically some fan made it and then it became like an official thing.
Speaking of fun things like that when you were a kid, you ever take one of those wallpaper tubes or like gift paper wrapping tubes?
Yeah.
Like when you were a kid and do like sword fighting with like your friends and shit.
Well, see, that's an entire paradigm of anything long and straight is used as a sword.
Yes.
And anything
or a bat.
Or bats. And anything that's long and has sort of a hook at the end, that's immediately a rifle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or another thing people used to do when I was in like first grade is they'd take parts of the United States puzzles and use the things like Florida and California like they were guns and shit. It's like this is the fucking most ridiculous shit ever. And it's like people would fight over the ones that were more gun-like shaped.
Oh yeah.
Like people would fight over, I want Florida. No, I want Oklahoma, or it was like, really?
Dude, what it gets really into is like when you're my age and you're like a young teenager where you have Nerf guns, but you never actually use them with the darts. They're all futuristic firearms for future war.
Did you ever have one of the guns that fire the discs, the spinny the discs? They're completely harmless. They don't hurt. They don't hurt if they hit you.
Those discs fly.
Holy shit! Me and my friend
across the street.
Yeah, I know. Me and my friend were with them, and we were doing the thing where I was on one end of the room and I was on the other, and one of my relatives was sitting there like reading the paper or something, and it was just going in front of the TV.
Yep.
And like one of my friends zinged him right under the fucking nose. And he just lost his shit. It was funnier than hell. He just slammed his newspaper, got up. It was pretty good.
I would use pillows as like rocks or just as landscape for my figures.
The pillow was always the shield.
Oh yeah, especially if you were using a sword like thing.
Yeah.
Like that. One time I grabbed the remote and I turned the TV on really loud and it distracted him and I thumped him right upside the fucking head. It was great. It looked like something straight out of a fail army video or something. We should probably get going.
Okay.
Too many stupid stories about dumb shit. Oh, childhood stories wouldn't be complete without the floor is hot lava.
Yeah, floor is hot lava.
No, nobody I know.
As soon as that call goes out, you're jumping up on the couch.
And you're moving across chairs and all kinds of shit. The worst thing is not a single person, regardless of age, doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, of course.
Is that an app on my iPad?
No. Okay.
Yeah,
No. Anybody that's not rich knows what I'm talking about.
Well, here's the thing. Either they're working on it or it's come out pretty recently. They came out with a game. Like a video game for the floor is hot lava.
What the hell is it like? Just like a game of Pitfall, except it's lava instead of.
No, it's like a 3D first person
you look through your thing
where the floor is actually lava. Let me look this up before we start.
This is fun.
Yeah. Okay. It's called Hot Lava, and it's an open beta. It's $9.99 on Steam, and it gives you 2 copies. And the whole idea is the floor is hot lava, and you're you're hallway of a school, and the floor is actually lava.
I'm shaking my head, but smirking at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, man, the lunch lady really fucked up them hot dogs.
No, that's just the school in Hawaii right now.
Oh, ouch. Well, at least we know their alarm systems work.
And we've had to start for like 2 minutes, but this is my last thing. is why I love humanity. Humanity is the only people crazy enough to build permanent dwellings on active volcanoes.
It's like, fuck this. It's like, if this thing erupts, our entire life will be destroyed.
That's a super villain thing.
Okay. Supervillains build volcano bases where they turn the volcano into a base. These people just said, "Oh, this place is really nice. I'm gonna build a house here to live in. Move my wife, my kids, and all my worldly possessions onto nearby this active volcano."
At what point do you not have the little voice in your head that goes, this is probably a bad idea?
Maybe Nebraska's better. That's a really inoffensive state as far as, natural hazards like volcanoes, like unstoppable lava.
Then
you just got to worry about corn growing into mutants and killing you.
Have any listeners in Hawaii is what I...
Any listeners in Hawaii? Why are you still there? Get out.
Right.
Or any listeners in Nebraska, we understand.
All right.
Let's start the show.
Yeah. Before we get to,
Okay, the link is out. Let me post the link here as well.
Chat.
Hit up the chat. That's there too.
Dun, dun, dun.
Need some water.
Hey, when we take this first break, I'm actually doing that.
It's a really good call. Okay. Ready in 3, 2. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm K-Odds.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And this is episode 101, Boob Magnetism.
Keeping it 101.
Yeah. Just like your college class that you fell asleep in.
NTR 101.
NTR 101.
We didn't make a whole lot of 100 jokes last episode.
So no, we really didn't.
101 jokes this episode, so prepare yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible. Okay, it's been the typical amount of time. So
yep, I finished Kids on the Slope.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm very upset because that show is completely abandoned, and it was a really good show actually.
It was abandoned before the next season even started.
Yeah, it was abandoned like halfway through. And I don't know why, because it was a great show. Like
what show are you talking about?
Kids on the Slope.
Oh yeah.
The A&E documentary I watched over there.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but to be real, the only reason why people were all like, "Oh, because Shinichi Watanabe was the director." It's like
I thought it was because there was a gay guy in it.
There wasn't.
No, it was really because
there wasn't. Somebody said there was.
There is a very flamboyant, kind of effeminate dude, but the entire conceit behind him is he wants to start a band to get groupies.
Oh wow! So the Poison angle.
Yeah. But yeah, and I'm with you, VZ. I feel like the entire reason anyone was pumped about that at all was because of who was behind it.
Well, that happens with other shows.
That it turned out that was a really good, like, Shinichi Watanabe and Yoko Kanno was once again a really good combination. Has been ever since Macross Plus.
There you have it. I should point out that if I sound a little different or go into a coughing issue or anything like that, first off, I'll try to mute my mic if I do. But I had dental surgery in the interim. It was awesome.
Do I have a drop-in for dental surgery?
What? Maybe just the rings?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, that's about the audio equivalent of what that feels like.
Realistically, what I should get is like we've been mentioning this for a while. The one where when you hit the spikes, it just gives that
like,
high pitch.
Yeah, it's like
sort of.
It almost sounds like somebody pinches you really hard.
It sounds like pain.
Yeah, it really just no. If we're gonna get us another Sonic one, we got to get the drowning noise.
Oh.
No, the countdown. That is like the scariest fucking music in the world.
Music gives you anxiety.
It kind of
is. Because like very few games have had sound like that convinces such a strong sense of dread. Like crap. This like bubble ain't coming up.
You're sitting there in Hydro City trying to
or Labyrinth Zone or whatever.
Freaking
Hydro City easiest water level. The hardest.
Probably because there's a lot of times where you're actually up and out of it.
I would actually say Aquatic Ruin is the easiest water level because if you can stay on top, you can avoid the water completely.
Almost entirely, yeah.
Hydro City forces you into the water.
Yeah.
Labyrinth Zone is definitely the hardest. Also,
I always thought so. Did you know, piece of trivia, did you know that was originally supposed to be the second zone?
Yes.
And it shows that when you put in the level skip code, because the second one it has the original order those levels were actually supposed to be in.
Right.
And thank goodness they actually were like, no, that's a bad idea. Let's because I could just see now people are like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't really think it's that hard.
Tidal Tempest from Sonic CD, that's a particularly bad one.
Okay, if you get stuck in the underwater parts in Scrap Brain Zone, sucks pretty bad.
Yeah.
A bit of Sonic trivia that I'm the only person that realized this. I don't know anyone else. I almost want to make like a post about it. The music from the fifth level,
Starlight Zone.
Yeah, from the original Sonic.
Yep.
It almost is the exact same melody as this late '80s song, from this group called Pajama Party, and what's the song's name? Love Light. If you listen to that, it has the same exact melody as. So someone must have heard that song and then decided just make mighty.
Well, sometimes you just kind of fumble or stumble upon a similar melody or something like that with those sort of
possibly, but I don't know. It just seems
like the Spring Yard Zone almost sounds like that straight up song by Paula Abdul.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I think we're both right. I think it can't be coincidence.
Yeah, the original Sonic game, they were just aping pop hits. Yeah. I kind of doubt it, but that was the first thing that I thought of when I heard that.
Michael Jackson was originally going to be part of the third one.
The third one, but like I think the Genesis's sound chip or whatever disappointed him in the end of it when it came out.
Well, that and the controversy at the time.
Oh, was that around then?
93.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, 93.
Yep. Well, somehow it didn't change the fact that he's still on this Pepsi can.
Yeah.
No. somehow I don't think those would be good commercials.
So stuff we're watching.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, can I go first real fast?
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Because all right, so the season ended, very light season. Although for some reason there's going to be more Gundam Build Divers. I don't know how long it's going to be, but still continuing.
Wait, wouldn't that be 26 episodes? They usually go for that long. Yeah.
Any more of the MILF?
No, none of those characters. It's all Build Divers.
Somebody had to ask.
That's fine. So I started one of the new shows from this season, and it kind of turned out to be a disappointment, unfortunately. Island.
Yeah, that's the one that has the younger looking girl that almost looks like a chibi version of Esdeath.
Yeah. I just found it kind of boring. I don't know. Maybe the visual novel really is better for that.
Sometimes that's usually. I hear a lot of people say that's usually the case with that sort of thing. Yeah. Anything that's based on visual novels.
So, but a whole bunch of new stuff is coming this week, so I'll be
looking
for. But one thing that I know it's one of my favorite things ever that I just felt like rewatching. I'm halfway through is Idolmaster Cinderella Girls.
Ah.
So that's all. I have a question for you guys.
All right.
I know you haven't seen Cinderella Girls, but you've seen at least the original one.
Yep.
People don't like the drama of that A1 Pictures puts in these.
Usually that's a case of just not liking A1 Pictures, though. It seems like
they don't like the idol drama thing.
Because even with Darling and the Franxx, they bitched about Trigger partnering with them.
Yeah, but it seems specifically with the people I look at, they don't like. They find the drama to be too over the top. That isn't proportional. That isn't in proportion with the situation. I think
it's like too forced.
Yeah, that's the word.
I was gonna say it's an idol anime. It's not like if this song doesn't win Eurovision, we're gonna murder somebody.
Yeah, it's Idolmaster, not Wake Up Girls.
The less said about Yamakan, the better.
Well, I don't see you haven't seen Cinderella Girls, but like a lot of people did not like the way Mio acted in episode 6 and between 6 and 7.
Let's ask Mr. Berserk himself. What do you think? I'm sure he'd give an interesting answer.
Yeah, but unlike me, Mr. Berserk, in fact, anyone in Japan can play the games. That's like the thing that is like just out of my reach is those damn games.
Could always buy yourself a Japanese Xbox, import the games, learn Japanese.
Well, now they're on PS4. You know, the two recent.
So buy yourself a PS4, learn Japanese.
Although, see, really, I would want to play the two smartphone games. Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Starlight Stage and Idolmaster Girls Million Live Theater Days. Yeah, Starlight Stage and Theater Days. That's it. Yeah, long names.
Like I said, I've only watched the original, so I'll get around to it eventually. It's just one of those things I'm taking my sweet ass time.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm pulling in Anubis.
Also, the movie had a lot of drama that people didn't like.
So that means in 2 years I'll finally see it.
See, I kind of expect the movie to have some kind of drama in it because it's a movie.
It's the one girl
some kind of central conflict.
The one girl named Kana, unrelated to Kaneko. She didn't think she was good enough or something, and she gets fat. She ate, and by fat, just slightly chubby.
Yeah.
Means they occasionally started eating honey buns.
It's
chugging ho-hos and Twinkies like Tic Tacs.
Well, I think it was marshmallow things she was eating, but I know what you're getting at. But the thing, my point is, the drama is there to get the plot going. Otherwise, you if you want to watch it, which I have no problem with, but stuff like the Cinderella Girls Theater or Puchimas, where it's just comedy bits.
I'm sorry, but complaining about drama in anime is like complaining about sand in the desert. Really.
Well, there's a difference between the way Idolmaster's drama is and even Love Live's drama than Wake Up Girls, where it's it just becomes cringy and also Yamakan. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Again, less said about him, the better.
Yeah. He can go scream and he can go yell about how awesome Fractile is to the end of time.
Yeah. So
all right. So what are you guys looking at?
Well, before that, I'm gonna tell everyone how to get involved with the show. So, what you do is you go to ntrradio.net. Click on the chat link. That'll bring you to the chat page. Give yourself a nickname, hit the button, and you will join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively, take your favorite IRC client to irc.ryzen.net and join us in the # SLC Media channel. In addition, you can get at us on Twitter at TAnubis, at VZMK2, at Immortal_KGods.
Dun dun dun.
And the show at NTR_radio. And as always, the email box to send emails to the show is ntrradio@gmail.com.
And there you have it.
So I finished Kids on the Slope, and I started back on Heyoka, which is a show I got like halfway through and dropped off on, but it's been so long since I last watched it, so I just decided to start over.
That's usually what I do if that sort of thing happens, because it's like, it's been too long. I'm not going to be able to get into the groove of the show. And
yeah, exactly.
Pick it up. Yeah.
Well, it's like if I don't visually remember what happened in the last episode that I remember, then
that's
I just
not
have
a good
to start
sign.
all over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because it's different from another show that I watched a couple episodes earlier today, which is Welcome to the NHK, which is another show I need to finish. But I actually remember what happened in the last episode. I actually saw that show.
One thing that's entertaining about that show is him slowly going batty because of his neighbor.
Yeah.
With the constantly playing the fucking J-pop, driving him just like, nuts. And then you gotta love the whole bit where I don't know how far you got into it.
I'm about halfway in.
Did you see the part where he gives him the porn?
Yeah.
And he's like surfing on there and just like making all these funny noises, the lightning bolts and all that shit, the bad music, and yeah. And you see him with like the fucking Kleenexes or whatever. That's funny. Plus, you gotta like all the fun little psychology they put in there.
Yeah. Also, Yamazaki he's an incel before incels were a thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Now, I can't remember, but didn't Fightbait use that as his avatar?
Yeah, I think he still does.
Because I thought he did because he's yeah, exactly. He's just like yelling like ah.
Yep, here it is.
Very good. Like we mentioned him, maybe. I don't know if he listens to us or not.
In other news, I got some stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, this ought to be good. Stuff's always good.
Okay. So remember how I think it was last time I said I'm starting to like these long ass light novel titles?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So I saw this at the bookstore and I really couldn't resist. The title is Reborn as a Vending Machine. I will now wander the dungeon.
Yeah.
So it's about this dude who, a vending machine otaku who gets killed and ends up in the isekai as a vending machine.
Wait, what? Like, okay, as a vending machine, as in like a sentient vending machine that's just like sitting there, like observing his.
He can't move on his own or really speak on his own.
It's like that episode of Simpsons, Grandpa's the Love-Matic Test.
Oh. Like, I just got this funny visual, though. You know how the joke about how candy falling tastes better? like it's like, it tastes better after it's fallen. I don't know why, than just buying it in the store. There's a joke there somewhere that you could work with that.
porn tastes better when it's on the porn. You can fat.
I don't like where that's going.
No, okay.
But okay, what is it? Just a regular vending machine that has like snacks, or is it like got panties, or what's in there?
He can produce anything he ever bought in a vending machine in his previous life.
Well, considering that it's Japan, there's a surprising amount of things in there.
Yeah, exactly. Here, this is a character profile. Boxo, a former vending machine maniac. All movement depends on Lamis, who carries him. He has this girl who carries him around on his back. He can sell any product he bought in his past life.
So, well, we know what he's bought in a past life, I guess.
Yeah. Now, ridiculous, but also highly creative. And
oh yeah, I can see that.
Like I'm enjoying this new like isekai boom that's going on.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of really derivative stuff, but then you also get vending machine isekai.
You know what the really cool...
the one I talked about last time, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level.
You know what the really good one's going to be this year or this season is going to be that one freaking about being inside the body, the germs and stuff.
Oh like yeah,
the white blood cells or whatever.
I'm looking forward to that one.
That one I imagine could be really creative. They could have a lot of interesting things with that. And holy shit, the dojins are going to be fucked up. You know they are.
All right, I also got the first volume of the Spice and Wolf light novel.
The
spicy.
The normal cover, not the awful cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That awful. I don't know what. It's like, we're going to try to make this for regular people.
So basically the original Mega Man cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost. It was like...
That's terrible.
The original cover?
It was like a photo.
Yeah.
Of some chick. I don't know.
But they gave like teeth and a like buckish teeth and a tail. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's not very good.
Yep.
Anyway, I also picked up My Solo Exchange Diary Volume 1. This is the follow-up to My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness.
Gotta love these titles.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking. Yeah, they just added a tail to it. It's so terrible. Okay.
What's that?
This is Intron Depot 4 Bullets. Is a Masamune Shiro art book.
Oh, cool.
It's full of like character designs and mechanical designs.
Right.
Different stuff he's worked on.
Mm-hmm.
But I also finally now own Clannad on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
That's all of it. That's both.
That's just the first series, not after story.
Okay.
Come on. I mean, you don't get that lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I've been watching because I have the Blu-ray of Dragon Ball Z Kai now. So I've been watching it subbed because, quite frankly, the dub was always I don't know. I like some characters, but I think it's sort of a almost nostalgia thing more than anything else.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things in that made me realize that some of the original dub scripts were so fucked up. They literally just completely ruined any ability to follow some aspects of what was going on.
Well, that was probably definitely like during the Saban era.
Yeah. They what's weird though is like some episodes were right on the money, but then other ones were just like they didn't get the original script and they just had to scramble and make something up.
He's being sent to another dimension.
If only that was the worst thing about that. I mean, yeah, that was lame, but there were other elements of that were worse. But anyway, I have it up to the end of the Cell thing before Majin Buu and all that. I don't have those yet. And I'm almost done already. I've been just sitting there like nauseated from fucking dental surgery. It's like need stuff to do, you know.
That's the big quality on those.
Oh, those look nice for the most part. You know, they didn't try to do the stupid thing where they put it in like in 16:9 and like mess up the fucking detail and all that crap. And it has the original soundtrack too, as far as I know. So it's not like, you know, it's got this really bad techno music and DBZ and the DBZ wrestling announcements, as I call them.
That was only the Saban era, and a little bit when Toonami. That was basically what was released as, like Rock the Dragon set.
Don't remind me of that.
Yeah, that was basically purely. Are you nostalgic for that period of the dub thing?
I do like Brian Drummond as Vegeta. I always thought he did a great job as that. But the thing is the way his character changes, I don't think it would have worked when he becomes a kind of a different kind of personality later. I don't think it changes to the point where I don't know if it would have worked. It sounds too villainous. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that kind of.
I liked it though. It worked great when he was the more villainous character. I mean, it really did. But no, I definitely like the sub better. I know there's some people out there who complain about Goku because, you know, he's voiced by a woman, and always has been as far as I know. And people just get really get really butt mad about that for some reason.
That sounds misogynist.
They wanted Goku to keep the child voice in the original.
But the thing is, I don't know. It's never bothered me. I mean, it really hasn't. I don't know why people are so upset by that. I can't figure it out. Anyway, it's pretty fun to watch. I mean, because let's be honest, some of the filler parts in the regular series are kind of sluggish and annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
So getting to the point's always nice.
It's basically the best of.
Kind of, but with you're not really missing anything. No, I mean all the essential information is there. I mean, for the most part, there's a couple elements and a couple of filler parts that were kind of fun just for kind of fleshing stuff out. I can't fucking talk. I've got a good analogy. It's kind of like the Gundam TV series versus the movie trilogy.
Right.
All the essential information is in the movie. In the movies, you can watch the movie set and know everything that's important. But if you watch the TV series, there are certain parts that kind of flesh stuff out a little more.
You also get the Zaccarello.
And that really crappy hammer thing. Well, I can't remember what the fuck that's called. The
Gundam hammer.
Yeah.
The ball and chain, the medieval weapon that they give the
that looks completely goofy and out of place.
Actually, one of my favorite things is that I haven't watched the TV series, but I've seen clips from the. But one of my favorite mobile suits. It's actually only in one episode, though. The Gain.
Oh, the Gain. That's one of my least favorite mobile suits.
Well, but here's the thing about the movies, though. Makube didn't really get much screen time. He had far more of a role in the TV series.
Right.
So he looks suspiciously like a crypt keeper type of guy. You know, he's very skeletal and he looks like a villain. Let's just say that.
He looks like someone who would pilot a Gyan.
He also looks like, you know, somebody who would threaten to nuke you, just out of a bad attitude.
Which he did.
Yeah, it's like, well, what's the? I'm trying to paraphrase it. It's like, you know. It's something like, you know, do not come any closer. I will launch a thermonuclear warhead. Yeah,
exactly.
He's just like, I'm well aware this violates the Antarctic Treaty, but you must understand, I don't like to lose. Something like that. Somehow that almost sounds like something you would say, anyways. Yeah. It really does. No offense.
That's the strategy you gotta use, and if you play in stuff like Sonic Shuffle.
Oh yeah.
Requires you to
Mario Party or something like that.
Kind of brinksmanship where, the generator of the airship we're all on as the game board is blowing up. I'm not gonna go do it. So you figure it out. You three figure it out. I'm not going to do it. So if none of you do it, so none of you go take care of it, something bad's going to happen to all of us. It'll be your fault because I'm not doing it.
So yeah, I've been watching a bunch of that, both because I want to enjoy it in Blu-ray and subbed, and because I've been not bedridden per se, but there's been large chunks of time where I'm just sitting there like, okay, my head hurts, fucking dental surgery. I'm gonna just sit down, lean back, get horizontal, and watch me some Chinese cartoons. It happens.
Yep. So, if that's all, we do have news. Here's the news drop-in.
Let's news. Working to restore power.
I should point out that something that me and you were talking about earlier about that little bit. You can't see me, but I am also moving in the same fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of hard not to. It's hard to sit still to that.
It's a nice song.
Yeah, it has its charm for sure. Anyway,
so the ANN forums rules got more draconian. If you can believe that's possible.
Yeah. That being said, if you're surprised by this, you're not paying attention.
Yeah. So this stems back from a June 21st, 2018 post where apparently there's going to be some kind of white supremacist rally occurring simultaneously with Otakon.
Yes, I saw something about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
what the hell was that?
In the background?
Something just sounded like either somebody sneezed really loud or something died.
That's background noise.
All right, so
just a second.
So there's going to be some kind of white supremacist rally occurring simultaneously with Otakon, and some goings on in the talkback thread on that particular article necessitated further review. Let's put it that way. So Chris McDonald, CEO of ANN, had to come in, said, okay, taken as a quote from the second thread I'm looking in the IRC. And this is Chris McDonald. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. If you call another poster a piece of shit, I assume it's shit, or something similar, your post will be deleted and you may be banned, even if they are a piece of shit. Likewise, if you express any racist, misogynist, or otherwise hateful point of view on this forum, you can kiss your post and your posting privileges goodbye. If you admit to harboring hateful opinions or supporting those that do, and go no further, I won't ban you. But if you so much as express one of these opinions, or express support for those who do harbor them, or make any statements that somehow diminish the hatefulness of those opinions, you're getting kicked out. Now, what he's basically saying is you can be a white supremacist as long as you don't express white supremacist viewpoints. You're like, you can admit to being a white supremacist on the ANN forums, but as long as you don't express those opinions, you're fine. Now, people like us see a problem with that because, okay, what that eventually leads to is a sort of ideological hegemony in the forums.
Which was already largely there, but
that further cements that particular
gotta lock that shit down.
Now, what's surprising is people from Anime Feminist had a problem with that particular rule set. And the reason they had a problem was because of the line in the third paragraph here. If you admit to harboring hateful opinions or supporting those that do and go no further, I won't ban you. They want ANN to ban people simply for being white supremacists or whatever.
Of course, that doesn't really surprise me.
No, not at all. Morning Rise in the ARC. So Anti-Fem basically wants stop policing. That's exactly what they want.
Oh yeah. That's not a revelation.
So that thread went on for 8 pages.
Small interjection though.
Yes.
What kind of person that's a white supremacist likes anime? Think about that for a minute. How stupid that combination is.
I don't know, man. I don't know. What really happens is this whole thing gets so muddy because nobody knows who. Because you have the whole anime right thing, but nobody really knows who's trolling and who's serious.
Which largely is probably a joke, but at the same time, there's clearly people out there who weren't given the heads up on that.
Oh yeah.
Morning Rise says there are a lot of white supremacists with Asian fetishes too.
That's
true. That's very peculiar. That definitely need to get some Freud in here on that. Some Jung Freud.
Yeah, well, I not to get too into the weeds of that, but I guarantee you it has something to do with the stereotypes surrounding Asian women and subservience.
Yeah, most likely. I think that has more to do with TradCon kind of views than white supremacist ones per se.
Well, there's a lot of overlap.
Oh, there are for sure. That there's definitely some Venn diagram shit going on there. No question. But it's still a bizarre. I mean, when you're looking at it from the outside, it's still very bizarre. I mean, the sad thing is it's not the weirdest shit I've seen.
Yeah, far from it. But anyway, continuing. So that thread went on for 8 pages, culminating in the third thread on Lincoln in the IRC, where Zach talks about the revised forum rules.
Oh boy.
So the
new rules.
Of course, we have number 1, don't be a jerk. Anime News Network staff moderators reserve the right to remove anyone from this space that cannot conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner. Now, according to some of my experiences on the ANN forum, some ANN staffers would be removed under that premise.
Spoiler alert, he's been there.
But let's continue. Posters' contributions should not create an atmosphere that is unwelcome to marginalized peoples. The moderators and staff reserve the right to remove anyone actively creating an unwelcome environment at their own discretion. So we have no definition of what marginalized peoples are. And it's basically up to the moderators and the staff to declare when someone has created an atmosphere that is unwelcome to marginalized peoples and remove them thusly.
And if you don't think this is basically going to be what became of NeoGAF, you're delusional.
And then continuing from that, moderators have full discretion to, this is the 4th rule down here. Moderators have full discretion to enforce the spirit of the rules. Moderators have the right to lock, delete, or modify any post at any time if they feel it negatively impacts the forum. If its thread is locked, that means the subject may not be brought up again. So they're giving their moderators carte blanche to go in and do anything they can and want to do.
Act on ANN.
Quote, enforce the spirit of the rules.
So what's going to happen, though, is I guarantee they are going to be heavily trolled now. I would be very surprised if they didn't start getting... I don't know. It depends on how well they screen new people, I guess. But depending on how they do that, I guarantee a bunch of new accounts will start showing up and start fucking with them. I would almost be surprised if that didn't happen.
Well, what really happens now is a lot of people are turned off by these new rules.
Yeah.
And you're gonna
like a migration, an exodus.
You're gonna have some level of an exodus.
And as they continue to hemorrhage money, they're also going to start probably putting even more ridiculous things like paywalls.
Yeah, this is
and invasive advertising.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking for right now. Is the Chris McDonald went on, talked about the A&N's financial situations. No specifics, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But he was talking about that, and this is his statement regarding that. Across the board, the advertising landscape has become much more challenging for small to medium-sized publishers like A&N. Companies are getting more demanding, and their budgets are getting much more constrained, and cutthroat competition and networks are bringing prices down. The result is that publishers need to look for revenue from different places, and one of those places is from our readers.
Clickbait.
It's not just A&N, you're seeing it everywhere. It's not just A&N, you're seeing it everywhere in media. This is the way things are in 2018. The 100% ad-supported model just doesn't work like it used to.
Thanks, Adblock.
As for A&N's exact financial situation, I can't divulge it. What I can say is that our cash flow was quite negative in 2017. We finished the year with a lot less money in the bank than we started with. To be fair, this was actually planned and expected. Our plans were to spend a lot of money of development, probably for development, in 2017, and we did that. Unfortunately, we also earned much less revenue from advertising than we expected. So the deficit at the end of the year was more significant than expected.
Maybe they should just, keep their mouth shut about politics.
See, that would be the smart thing to do.
I'm getting to that. A&N isn't going to go bankrupt in 2018, unfortunately. But if we have another year like 2017, we'll have no choice but to make unfortunate changes at A&N. Maybe that means more invasive advertising. Maybe it means paywalls. Maybe it means cutting expenses, or God forbid, maybe it means cutting payroll.
Yeah, there's a business advent, I believe would be a good term here, when this sort of thing happens. It's called roll hard left and die. And no, I didn't just make that up. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's some kind of death spiral name or something. And it means basically like when companies basically aren't doing quite as well as they used to. They try to appeal to what's hip with the youngsters, which in this case is like social justice and crap like that. And so they roll hard with it. And what ends up happening, though, is that doesn't make up the core of the audience for this kind of stuff. And they basically just flee. And it's basically a really very fast sinking ship at that point.
That's pretty much what's happening with the Western comic book industry right now.
Yes, that's exactly true. Another example of that. But
here's the thing. That doesn't necessarily apply to A&N. And here's why. They've been hard left for quite a while.
True, but they weren't in dire straits financially.
That's my point. Here would be here's the series of dumb business moves. All right, they've spent
Otaku coin.
I'm getting there. They spent a long time trying to enforce might not be the proper word, but I'm going for it, a kind of ideological hegemony.
echo chamber, whatever.
Echo chamber, whatever, within the space they control, which is okay, but you're also a money-making venture. It's like ANN CEO says it himself. ANN is not a charity or a not-for-profit. We're a regular for-profit corporation. So you're deliberately driving away many potential readers, many potential donators now, because now, well, not donators. That's the incorrect word. Subscribers. So they're driving away potential subscribers. And they've been doing that for quite a while. And now they're in dire financial straits, and they've dug themselves into a corner. And you mentioned Otaku Coin. Here's Chris McDonald's big mistake. Creating an identity, creating his brand off of being political at all. Put it that way. I was going to say political that, but don't affiliate politically if you're not making money off of it. So he built his brand off of being hard left, and then he got announces, "Hey, I'm joining the Otaku Coin committee," which there's a plethora of problems about Otaku Coin, but regardless of that, ANN stood to make some money off of that. So that happened, and then a whole bunch of people got on him, because also on the Otaku Coin committee is Palmer Luckey, who's hard right in some way. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy other than the fact that people don't like him because he supports Trump. And people were shitting on Chris McDonald because he was on the committee with this dude, and he had to put out a whole statement about, "Oh, I didn't know this guy was on the committee, and I didn't know his politics until now. And if you know me, you know where I stand politically," and that's his mistake. If we know Chris McDonald, we know where he stands politically. The guy who runs the anime cartoon website. I wonder why we know where he stands politically. So he did that. So he's not on the Otaku Coin committee anymore, which again could have been a revenue stream for ANN, but isn't anymore because he decided to build a brand off of his politics. So now ANN's about to be in dire straits, and there's not much they can do except for seek out new revenue ventures that I don't know where they're gonna find that. They probably have moderately intelligent people on the job, and to ask their people to subscribe, which now with this new forum rules that they were harangued into adopting, they're not gonna have as many people up here to subscribe to the service, and they have no one to blame but themselves.
Would telling them that maybe they should it's not so much in it's the website, it's like on Twitter that you go and see the way these people really are, and maybe someone should tell them, maybe you should, kind of not say. I know that sounds a little draconian also, but
well, here's the thing. Even the licensing companies and stuff like that have like dub actors and actresses that just go fucking hog wild.
Yeah.
And they say and do some of the dumbest shit. And it's like, that's a PR nightmare because there are plenty of people who are completely turned off by that. And it's just like, wow, why not? I don't really care, about what you believe in this department. But the fact that you're getting ridiculous about it on social media makes me not want to buy your products.
Exactly.
You're alienating people in a business that absolutely demands as many sales as possible. Even though the Western anime industry is doing a lot better than it was several years ago, but it's clearly, and people do like dubs, but you're gonna alienate people by your dub actors acting like this.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, I'm gonna go on ANN and turn off my ad block. Okay, so they have this big Fate Grand Order like spread around the periphery of the website.
Yeah.
Okay, how many people are really into Fate Grand Order? One, who aren't already playing Fate Grand Order, and two, who would be, how to put this, who would be like straight up willing, like on board with this new forum paradigm? I'm gonna assume not very many.
No.
Looking at on the forum page, looking at the bottom here, they have a Tokyo Otaku mode thing. Now,
Right.
ANN has a reputation for hating on otaku, so I don't know why they're in league with the anime figures people.
Money.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much money they're making, because they clearly have a disdain for the exact kind of people who buy a whole lot of anime figures. That's one. Number two,
figures and
how many anime figure people are clicking through the friggin' ANN Tokyo Otaku mode spread at the bottom here? Your silence speaks volumes. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they're
that or emo debacle where Zach goes over this shit when the thing first came out. It was like,
where they shat all over it and then streamed it.
There's a great
and
image
streamed
of
it
that.
badly.
And they had ads all over the site, like, watch the new anime or emo, and it's like, yeah.
Well, it just tells you that they have no real integrity, and never did.
No. So it's like either you're for your social justice or you're really just that's a well, most of these people, they're not they claim they are, but they're just doing it as virtue signaling. But they really want.
No doubt. But don't make no mistake. Some of these people are true believers.
They're true believers, but they're also at the same time like it's because it's
Isn't Chris McDonald Canadian though?
I don't know.
I'm looking on his thing and I'm seeing a fuck ton of Canada stuff. Which that might explain a little bit, because Canada has very different rules regarding some of this kind of stuff. In terms of, put it this way, hate speech is a real thing there.
Yeah, even that being the case, like I'm not gonna take that as an excuse.
Oh no, I'm just saying it really doesn't surprise me if that's the case.
Is it time for break or
yeah, we're gonna hit up the break. Don't run your business like Anime News Network. Keep it right here on Anime. Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
That was a
almost said the exact wrong thing.
Yeah. Whoops.
Some of this water. That down. Name a Sonic CD zone.
I'm having a brain fart. You'd have to just pick one at random.
Yeah, the reason I asked you is because if you asked me to pick one at random, I'm never gonna choose one.
Oh, well, I can't think straight with which.
VZ's not here.
Oh, well, I can't really help you.
He's pieced out.
Sonic CD is like my least played one of those, so.
It's a shame because it's the best one. Collision Chaos Present. Oh no. No, that's the wrong one. Give me a second. Collision Chaos Present US version.
Tonight on Cinemax, I am going to use this time to get some water.
Need some water.
Yes, I do. I shall return.
Yeah, sorry about that before.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, that was. I told K-Gods what happened. Should I? I'll tell you. Twitter. Private message. Copy the same thing. I didn't want to say in the actual show, but I guess I could say it here. Did you get to?
We are still recording.
Well, that's fine.
There was
one line in the Japanese of Kids on the Slope where someone uses a certain slur.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because that was the part I heard in the Anime World Order review. I was like, oh wow, they actually said that.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's a period piece. It takes place in the 60s.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's a good show, but
it's an excellent show.
It's 26 episodes, right?
It's 13, I think.
Oh, it's 13. Wow. So that's kind of weird that it just dropped off like that. I said.
Well, no, I don't think it's weird. I think I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because remember, these people have a track record.
Yeah. Well, look at that. They were only hopping on because Shinichi Watanabe.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate they hopped off because they missed an excellent show.
Well, they made a live-action version in Japan not too long ago. I don't know if it's a movie or like a J-drama. But, yeah. A lot of stuff's been getting J-dramas recently.
Yeah.
And live-action. Yeah, they just came out. They're coming out with a Bleach movie over there.
Really?
Yeah, and how can I put this? It's about cosplay level like special, like the way the costumes look.
Are we talking bad cosplay or good cosplay? Like, are we talking like
it's
the
problem
what's
of
that one con? Like, are we talking like Katsucon, like gazebo level cosplay, music video cosplay? Or are we talking like?
I need to actually watch the trailer, but the thing about it, all right, yeah, there's to pick. The problem with these things is they kind of adhere too close to, and because that looks silly in live action.
Right.
Like, even the superhero movies kind of change stuff that would look silly in real life.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten that memo yet.
I'm back.
K-Gods is back. We transitioned to a new stage while you were out, K-Gods. We're now entitled Tempest.
Ah.
All right, some of these costumes don't look too bad, but others look like, cosplay level. Yeah. I'm talking about the live-action Bleach movie that's coming out in Japan.
Ah.
Yeah. But more than the costumes for these things, there's another aspect to why these live-action things in Japan don't work, and it's the act. They don't have a concept of subtlety so it comes off like really overacted and melodramatic. That works perfectly for anime,
right?
But in live action, looks really hokey and silly.
Okay, I just read something I didn't need to see.
Oh,
Jim Carrey may be in live action Sonic.
Oh yeah, I saw that as Robotnik. Yeah.
This is a terrible idea, by the way.
Let's be very real. A live-action Sonic is a terrible idea by itself.
Yeah. Well, truthfully, with the exception of Liar Liar, I never found Jim Carrey that funny.
Well, the thing that's weird about this, especially him being Eggman or Robotnik, whatever, is he's an anti-vaxxer, right?
Yeah, that's the real reason why I don't like him now. He's one of those people.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of funny because he's playing like a mad scientist kind of guy.
Yeah.
This is another thing. It's like, you're an actor. Why do we need to know your views on all this bullshit?
Because people in Hollywood think they're more important than they actually are.
Hey, that's clearly the reason.
It's the high smug alert. It's the smug alert.
It probably comes with having money and like prestige or some bullshit.
You have some level of influence in a certain sector, so you believe you have influence on like every sector.
It's like I mean, it's like the nonsense that I voice anime characters for dubs. Listen to my geopolitical observations.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like okay. Famous actor. Unsolicited opinions on anything.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, basically. Like, did you see that Joss Whedon thing?
No.
Holy shit, that was funny. It was utterly ridiculous. Talking about Anita's struggle. It's like, shouldn't you go back to cheating on your wife?
Yeah, exactly.
And shutting the fuck up.
VZ will be unmuting himself any minute now.
Okay.
It took me a second for that to register that you just said that.
I'm looking at his little screen and it's like, is he gonna catch on? He's gonna do it. Then I see his mouth moving and nothing coming out. I'm like,
and you're like, nope.
I need
so
to help him out a bit.
Yesterday I went to like an Asian fusion restaurant.
Yeah.
Belated birthday thing. And when I walked in, I saw someone with like bright green hair, and I'm like, not loudly, but I'm like, this.
Okay.
Please don't be fixing my food.
Let's be very real. They might be a hardcore anime, like they might be a weeb. If they're in the restaurant,
depends. Do they?
Not the other thing.
You can tell. You can usually tell if they have other things like septum piercings and shit like that.
We can't
fucking ear gauges.
We can't tell just by the hair color. There might be a cosplayer. Maybe it's the C2 cosplayer. We don't know.
That is like what garlic and crusts are to vampires.
That's funny.
All right, let's hit up the second segment.
Eyebrow piercings aren't much better.
Yeah. That ounce?
I don't mind navel piercings though.
I do. In 3, 2. Welcome back to NTR Radio.
NTR 101, or maybe it should be 102. It's the second segment.
Well, no, because we don't name our podcast that way, because that would be episode 102. But we are going to do some 101 on this episode. But before that, I'm going to tell you how to get involved with the show if you're listening live. You hit up ntrradio.net, hit the chat link, give yourself a nickname, and you will join us in the IRC channel. Alternatively from that, you can break out your favorite IRC client, hit up NTR Radio. That's the wrong shtick. Hit up irc.ryzen.net, and you will be able to join us in the # SLC Media channel. In addition, we're up on Twitter at Anubis, at VZMK2, at Immortal_KGods, and at NCR_radio. And the email box is ntrradio@gmail.com. So this segment...
Send your hate mail now.
Send your hate mail now. This episode, we're going through... kind of jumping off the last idea we went over on the second segment of episode 100, which is going deep with your hobbies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We don't have a drop in for that, do we?
Do we? I don't know. We have this one.
Sex is bad. Stop talking about it.
Actually, more appropriately, we do have this one. I actually haven't used this one in a while.
We get laid. We play football. We get laid.
I won't lie. I got to listen to that every once in a while for personal amusement.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's one of those ones that if that bothers you, get a better sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too stupid and ridiculous not to laugh at. Anyway.
So, going deep with your hobbies. And now, the concept we're talking about isn't
about Ona holes. I mean, well, I guess it kind of works.
To some extent.
Listen, if you're at like tier 20, you're designing your own Ona holes.
You're designing and 3D printing your own Ona holes.
And your ingredients are like sod.
and you're making like you're based on the characters, like, let's see,
and you're
like,
calling it an erection set.
And
Got to have that callback.
see, now I need to know: is there an Anzu Futaba on a whole parody?
If you can think of it, chances are they've thought of it too.
But yeah, so we're talking about engaging with anime on a level deeper. Deep. I need to give myself this drop in. I don't know why I'm so awful, but I'm gonna do this one.
Stub your toe.
We're talking about engaging with anime on a level deeper than just watching it and like talking about the stuff you're watching and like casually discussing it on social media and whatnot.
Right.
And the stuff with all the kind of meme content, not shitting on it just by virtue of it being meme content, but it's surface level, and I have trouble engaging with surface level stuff on that level.
Right. It's a level. But no, I know what you mean. Kind of, it helps to break it down into like compartments, I guess would be the right way when you do this.
Well, yeah. And this is kind of like tier theory, but a different sort of breakdown.
Think of it more like popping open the hood on your car. Like that's where all your important parts and shit are, for the most part. And
to some level, think of it this way: you start at one point, and that's like, okay, I like a few things that happen to be anime, and then it's a straight line downward to the next point, which is I actively seek out more anime to watch, and then maybe it goes down to a third point where you're into talking about it with other anime fans. But then what happens is it branches off into all these other multiple points.
Art, yeah, you make art, you make
all the artists, all the cosplayers,
even more recently you got the idols thing and
the whole idol culture thing, all the figure collectors, all the model kit builders, all the photographers.
I'm gonna stalk this idol because the character that she played is did something
because they got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
It's the bad part of going deep.
Yeah. No. Going deep, trapped in a mud hole.
But the reason this concept is so important is because when you're willing, able, you have the inclination and the will and the means to engage with your hobby on a deeper level like that, suddenly the whole environment gets a lot more positive and a lot more tolerable. Because it's to a certain extent, it's a natural gatekeeping mechanism.
Think of it this way. Think of a rocket taking off and it basically jetsoning parts of it. But think of it going downward into the ground and that happening. And the jettison parts of it coming off are the obnoxious, toxic things going away.
Yeah, that's actually a really good analogy. So you have
like that.
You have the multi-stage rocket, and it takes off, and that's like the discovery of anime. Okay, there's this real cool thing called anime, and you're getting in with all the community and whatnot, and then you start to get deeper into it. Then the boosters jettison and fall back to Earth.
Right.
And then the next set of boosters jettison and fall back to Earth. Then the fuel tank jettisons and falls back to Earth. Then all the stages fall back, and then you're left with the payload. And that's when you're at a level where, okay, I'm really into this particular sector of anime fan. Let's call it figure collecting. Okay, I'm really into figure collecting. I'm all up in here taking photos of anime figures in neat places and whatnot. And you're in with that, and you're in on that community. And like, that's what you do. Of course, you also you also watch anime, and you also engage with like the medium this is all based on.
Think of it as specialization.
It's special.
Yeah. You become a specialist in a particular area of...
Exactly.
Right. It's kind of like when agriculture first started, and you had the people that planted the stuff. You had the people that, dug and all that kind of crap.
Right.
There's also, like, again, people like me, and again, not everyone has to be like this, but, like I talk about, in order to know the history of anime, and especially, like, the history of mecha anime, it's also important to know the history of, like, robot toys, because the two are inseparable. You can't talk about the history of mecha without knowing, because it's like that. It's like this. It's so intertwined.
Right.
Like the other time I was just spouting stuff about how Jetfire and this, and then like Harmony Gold couldn't get the rights to the Valkyrie toy.
And then Doozy Bots ruined it for everybody.
Cripple
Kwame. Like I love that. It's like he's the gun tank. What the fuck, man? That's horrible.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does, but it's just like, really? And it's the black guy, really?
I love all the cartoons from that era were exactly like that, where it was just like this.
What, like Rainbow Coalitions?
Yeah. There was the one where they were going to do before they just decided to bring the actual Sailor Moon anime, they were going to do the one that they were going to make their own cartoon.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's something. It only exists one footage of it at a con. It's you have to see it to believe, and it's real. It was something that was going to come out anyway.
Did you see the Chinese knockoff of Gundam?
Oh yeah.
That was pretty amusing.
I forgot what planet she represented. I think it was Sailor Mercury or Mars. Anyway, the character was in a wheelchair.
Naturally.
And oh, by the way, half live action and half animation. It was
that sounds uniquely awful.
Yeah, it's bad as there is proof that it actually was going to be a thing, because they found like animation cells, but apparently they can't find the actual trailer except the video showing the people watching like this trailer at a con.
Huh. Well, that's for some reason this reminds me of like a Twilight Zone thing. You know how like it has the intro and it's explaining it. You're entering another dimension. It's like
it's about as cringy as Doozy Bots. Let's put it that way. It's like you thought Doozy Bots. This is pretty much up there in the.
I'm surprised they have. I heard they were rebooting Captain Planet.
I keep hearing about that. Wouldn't be surprised given this generation.
The current climate, and it's probably going to be worse than it was originally, which is saying a lot.
So are we going to have like the villain who's just like Trump incarnate, but it won't actually be Trump?
But they already had that. It was Loot and Plunder.
Yeah. But it'll be
which they will never top that name.
But they'll make him like, I don't know, blazing orange or some,
Yeah, they'll make him look like he's from SoCal and he's just burnt.
Yeah.
And he's got like a toupee and yeah. I mean, and all the villains, instead of being named after like basic things like that, they'll be named after like women's studies mean things.
Yeah.
Like like I don't know,
Bob or something.
White the Patriarch. Or some bullshit like that.
The alt-right. It'll be
they'll be like a stand-in for the alt-right.
Yeah, and they'll be like literal stormtroopers, like Star Wars stormtroopers.
They'll call them, I don't know, Colon North or something. I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, so specializing. I like that a lot more than going deep. Let's be fair.
Sounds Sounds less like you're drilling for oil.
Yeah, it sounds a lot less like a sexual move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it this way: you're talking to someone who obsesses about finding the 3 sizes to characters. Okay, I find that very.
The best thing about that is myself, Anubis, and probably all our listenership knows what you mean by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta know the 3 sizes to the characters you like.
Of course. And not only that, you gotta know it in metric terms.
Yeah, that too.
It's like, learn the metric system or you're not gonna know how big their tits are.
It's like...
Sorry.
It's like, yes, this character's 92 centimeter hips in...
English, please.
As their shiny colors. It's like, yeah, say I told you they're making big asses. For shiny colors.
What's the ass size? Brazilian.
Oh,
I think we've offended pretty much every culture and country in this that's listening to this show.
There's 2 Brazilian idols in the Idolmaster franchise.
Do they have big asses?
Not as big as you would think, but not as small as you would think.
So no. Anyway,
so what are we talking about? We're talking about figure collecting, talking about everything having to do with model kits,
cosplay's
it's
almost its own thing in that. I mean,
it's almost kind of its own thing, but cosplay's weird. So normally with these specializations, it's a very easy way to tell who's like, it's intrinsic gatekeeping. So it's a very easy way to tell who's actually like into the
I get it.
Anime as a hobby, but isn't faking the funk about that. Like isn't into it just because it's a way to big up themselves.
Yeah. Right. Whereas in cosplay, I mean, I'm not saying this is uber common, but there's also the thing where where basically there's people basically using that as somewhat of a springboard to get themselves like into bigger things.
A lot of people use it with. A lot of people get into cosplaying with aspirations of jumping that off into kind of a larger general modeling career.
Or sometimes a cam horse,
which and sometimes that as well. But like, which I don't actually have a problem with. When I start having a problem with it is when they disrespect the culture, disrespect like anime culture particularly. Seem to not even so much disrespect it, but seem to not have any respect for the culture that grew this entire thing that they're latching onto.
It's kind of like how in the gaming world right now you got people that are just kind of latchers on, and they're trying to make rules and shove out people that have been there forever. Or they're trying to use that as a way to just kind of get into a bigger general nerd kind of thing.
Right.
I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd too. I can be.
Well, here's this thing with nerd. This whole thing with nerd culture, quote unquote, is I've developed a mentality where I don't trust I don't trust anyone who doesn't specialize with regards to nerd culture. If anyone's we're the nerd culture blog or the nerd culture podcast, I don't trust you.
Well,
I just find it hard to trust people who don't. And I get that there's plenty of people who are just generally into a whole lot of nerd culture stuff, and I don't get me wrong, I understand that because I'm close to being one of those people where there's a whole lot of stuff I'm just generally into. However, there's some stuff I definitely specialize in.
Right. I mean, and
that's the same thing with me. There's
like the one thing is I'm sure you've come across people that almost seem like they're trying too hard. or they almost seem like nerds as portrayed by Big Bang Theory or something, where it's like they miss kind of the core of it in a way. It's just like skimming the surface level, like, oh, I like Star Wars.
Yeah, that's like
or whatever, Green Lantern or
see, I don't encounter those people in real life.
Oh, it's largely an internet phenomenon.
All the nerds I know in real life have a number of specialties. Like
look what they're wearing.
Well, I don't even want to fucking get into that.
No. I'm saying it's like, are you wearing Crocs? Then you're not really a nerd. You're just an idiot.
That's bad from start to finish. But what I'm saying is, I know this guy who he's really good at Smash, which I'll withhold my opinion on, and he knows a whole lot about Metal Gear Solid. And going back to cosplays Snake from MGS3. And does a spot-on job at it too. Does the voice spot on. So he highly specializes in a few things. He's into a whole lot of other stuff, but he's also the one dude who can beat this guy Jamie at Smash, and he's Naked Snake, big boss. So because I don't think, I find it difficult to believe that when someone gets to that level of passion in an interest, they haven't found anything to specialize in.
Oh, by the way, I want to I think a certain aspect is I don't personally, and I don't think we want to be accused of it could seem like that, but doing the whole thing about girls that are like they're only into this stuff as attention, they're not really into it.
There's an easy way to tell that,
because I know that there's definitely women and girls who are definitely into it.
Oh, for sure. But there are easy ways to tell that.
Anime is one of the most egalitarian nerd culture hobbies with regard to gender.
And like I said, it's easy to tell. Just listen to them talk. I mean that. Just listen to them talk about stuff related to whatever you're talking about. You'll know.
I disagree.
Really?
Because
why?
I disagree because I know a few women who are into anime who they're not necessarily articulate about it. Okay, so to give one specific example, there's this one girl I know who's into anime, like really into anime. Possibly one of the and like she's into like cute girl anime too. So she's the real deal, but she has trouble with specifics.
Okay, well that's not really what I mean. I don't mean like necessarily grilling them hardcore or something. I'm not even saying to actually talk. Just listen to them talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would be an example of someone who's faking the funk?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example of that because it's one of those you know it when you hear it kind of things. Well, like people getting constant things wrong, you know, that totally are way off to where even noobs wouldn't really make that mistake.
See, I got to push back on that too, because it would depend on what they're getting wrong. Like if someone's getting a particular detail about like 8th MS team wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, is it a minor detail or not? That's. Oh,
I got. Well,
like, if they even know about 8th MS team, I'm more tempted to believe that they're not taking the funk, and they just got something wrong about the details of the series.
Right. That's not really what I mean.
I got one. I got an example. Not a specific case, but like, the people like you encounter this all the time. The people who are like, oh, old anime didn't have all this moe and idols,
other crap. When it's obviously either obvious they haven't watched a lot of old anime, or they're looking at it through rose-tinted glasses.
And the examples they always list is stuff like it's the usual 4 to 5. It's like Cowboy Bebop,
which isn't really old.
Ninja Scroll. Well, it's old to them.
Realistically, this isn't even that in particular. VZ isn't even like a women thing.
No.
That's just idiots who are.
Yeah, that's just an idiot thing.
Yeah, it's just the dumb people who
are
Moronese
or whatever
in the old guard people in fandom thing.
Yeah, the cute girl thing's been around since the 70s, people. Yeah. Even earlier than that, if you really want to look.
Yeah, Tezuka pioneered the.
I mean, granted,
it evolved.
Well, but naturally, that's another thing that bothers me. Is like anime isn't like it was 30 years ago. It's like most things aren't like they were 30 years ago. Gas prices aren't like they were 30 years ago. Come on now.
But no, but let's focus, because I agree with you that there are plenty of women out here faking the funk for attention purposes.
Although a lot of the times that usually ends up being in the more social element of it, like the cosplay area or something like that. It like I've never met a fake model kit, enthusiast.
Exactly.
Like, how would you even fucking do that?
Build it poorly.
What would you just buy the stuff and just let it sit there? But that would still be you're a collector.
Yeah, you build it poorly, sure, but you still bought the thing. Like you still went through, bought the thing, put in all the effort to build it, and you might have built it shittily, but you still put in all that time and effort and money.
I'm sorry to over talk, but they do that in like Japanese hobby magazines where they have some cute girl build a model kit. Sometimes good, sometimes not. I saw one that built the Dom like master grade completely wrong.
Well, but
I don't think you could. I don't think you could accuse those people of being fake, though.
No.
It's trying.
It's like doesn't the thought and the spirit that counts there?
See, VZ, this is why I push back against you when you're talking about fake nerds buying Funko Pops. I'm not gonna judge people. I'm not going to value judge people based on their spending habits. They're still spending money. They're still a level above people who don't spend money.
No, but it's the thing about me and the Funko Pops is it's clearly people who want to like cheat their way into being the scene is like, look at me, I'm a nerd. Look at all this. See, I got this stuff and this stuff. But it's like, yeah, but it's like the most basic level of nerd culture. I'm not saying you necessarily have to buy super expensive stuff, but it's like the most, it doesn't, because they're so ubiquitous.
This is a subject I wanted to bring up as part of this topic is you start to notice a lot of the specialties end up costing money to join in with.
They are very much a drug in the sense that, yeah,
and like to some extent, you could see it as a sort of bad type of gatekeeping thing where you're basically saying, okay, you have to spend money in order to be a higher level fan. When
like you can still produce art, you can still produce,
that costs money though. You have to spend money on art supplies.
Well, you could do computer wise. I mean,
you have to spend money on software.
I was just gonna say, unless you're just like a dirty pirate.
But and that's an issue. But my whole thing is it's a level of showing dedication. Like it's a method of showing dedication that you're willing to spend money on something. because that money could easily go to other places. You don't have to buy anime figures.
No,
but you buy them because you have that level of dedication and you want it. Like you want the figure and you're dedicated enough to spend however much on it, however much on whatever figure you're after getting.
Yeah. And
now, I mean, I'll hate on Funko Pops because I think they're ugly and I don't like the business model, but that is the reason I can't get on board with comparing that to Faking the Funk, because it's you're exhibiting some level of dedication. Now, I'm not gonna go and compare yes, there are levels of dedication. I'm not gonna compare people buying Funko Pops to these people out here putting anime girls all over their car, spending 1.5 grand putting anime girls all over their actual vehicle. Because that's a different level of dedication. But it's my point is it's something, and it's still higher level than people who are just out here watching anime and shitposting on Twitter.
And quite honestly, I mean, this might not be why they're doing it, but holy shit, is it not an attention-getting thing to do?
That is certainly an attention-grabbing thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I watch anime and I post memes on social media about it, and I thrive off of likes and retweets.
Let's like go to a left curve on this topic. What about like the whole shaming people who go deep within their stuff? Like, you like this thing too much.
Okay,
pissing money on stuff that you don't really need.
Let's approach that from let's approach that from this perspective. Why ask that question? Like, or why engage with people on that sort of thing?
They can't understand the person's dedication, and of course they should be something.
Oh well, that's here's the thing, and I as the last time I like to play this game called Play It Out. I'd like to play this other game called Ask Why Until You Get the Real Answer. So it's like, okay, why can't they fathom that someone has a level of dedication that is deeper than they have, that compels them to do something like spend money on anime figures?
Would it be jealousy that they can't, or
maybe
it sounds too?
Maybe, but I think it's more along the lines. There is a bizarre, and we've seen it personally, actually, in action, an idea that you can like things too much. Remember that? You like this thing too much.
Well, see, we're going to keep playing this game. Where does that frame come from?
There's a couple different angles, some of which are
self-loathing.
And some of them are kind of in a thing where they think material made with the concept of profit is bad.
I know what it is also. It's the whole, it's especially in like the Western fandom where they're so paranoid about being seen as a sucker. You know, you be liking this thing so much means you're being taken advantage by like a corporation.
Here's the thing, and this is an interesting paradigm, VC.
From the same people who blindly buy stuff from Apple.
Well, to some extent, yeah, okay, guys. But here's the thing: they're afraid of being seen as a sucker. By whom? The same exact people that have the same mentality as they do.
Yeah, I think that's what.
So the entire reason that it's a vicious cycle. The entire reason that and this is one of several potential reasons that people engage this way, but the entire reason they're concerned about being seen as a sucker for buying into the anime consumerist industrial complex is because they're concerned about because other people have said that about the same people they're shitting on, and they don't want to be shit on by the people who are out here hating on people for buying the things they like.
Because that reminds me of this thing that years ago when I was reviewing this was even before Taco DX ain't there anymore, but Collection DX, when I was reviewing the show Bamboo Blade, and someone said they didn't like the idea that I liked the episode where the main girl was really excited about buying the anime she was into, and it's like of course you would like the show, the character you like because she's you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So basically they're butt mad that you like a character you identify with.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine the characters they identify with. People that just are sour and are fucking miserable.
They even said, "Oh, you bought like hook, line, and sinker." Their message or whatever or not.
Yeah, bought hook, line, and sinker into a show you willingly paid for.
Well, I didn't pay for it.
Okay, well then how? Well, that's even funnier.
Yeah,
because that makes it sound like you wasted money somehow when you didn't even do that.
But again, it was the fact that I wasn't liking the show for its kendo aspect, which I didn't even say that. I just said I liked the part where the
so maybe just a butt mad kendo player. or player, a kendo practitioner, I guess would be the better word.
I don't think there's any kendo places in the U.S., but I know what you're saying.
It doesn't matter. They just sound like they have a stick up their ass, a kendo stick, if you will.
Ha, Shinai.
No, it's basically you like the character being an otaku because you're an otaku.
Shit! Holy crap! You mean people identify and like characters that they can look at and go, "Hey, I've done that before."
Which is funny because I've never seen such hate. One character that gets more love it or hate it is Umaru-chan from
I thought you were gonna say Nico.
A
lot of hate there.
You hate Nico?
No, I don't. I see a lot of that though.
Yeah, I know a lot of people hate Nico. The same reason also is a lot of people hate Anzu from from Cinderella Girls.
Mm-hmm.
They hate the lazy neat character. That's content with being a lazy neat.
Which is funny because most of the people I hear complaining about this stuff don't have jobs. Because if they did, they wouldn't be sitting around complaining about this stuff.
Again, there's that self-hatred thing. It's, the self-hating otaku phenomenon.
Yeah, well, they can do that if they want, and they can die early, just like their leader.
Well, let's go in on the self-hatred thing, because that's the other paradigm that I was steering toward by asking the why game. So
you do know that's something obnoxious little kids do too, right?
Yeah, except they're not actually looking for a real why.
Eventually you just gotta shut them down with as Louis C.K. once did before he got in his little mess. When he's in the show and the girl playing his daughter just keeps doing that while he's trying to eat a cereal. Why? Because God is dead and we're alone.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then she stops. That's pretty funny.
But yeah, so think of it this way. You have a bunch of people out here who are beaten down by arbitrary social conventions, especially those surrounding anime, and anime fandom is in the West particularly. So you got these people who are beaten down low by that, don't know that they're beaten down by it, and buy into it as a result. So they see someone who has basically abandoned those social conventions in favor of doing and engaging in what they want to engage in.
Basically, I substitute your reality with my own. Sort of thing.
But then again, they
less I substitute your reality with my own, and more what you have to say about me and what I do really doesn't matter. Like, it's my whole thing with don't fight the demographic who spends $150 on anime figures, because if they cared at all what you have to say, they wouldn't be spending $150 on anime figures. Like, the $150 is worth more to them than some rando's approval.
Right. Which is another thing I think these people get mad about, that a lot of people don't care that other people are seemingly put off by it.
Well, that's the whole thing, is you have people who are beaten down by these social conventions, and
like there's this bizarre,
they see someone who's enjoying themselves, and in a way that's, or more to the point, you got someone beaten down by social conventions, and who's internalized this frame where a lot of the positive energy that they consume comes from social approval.
Right. Well,
and then they see someone out here doing things that are ostensibly socially looked down upon, but having such a great time doing it.
Well, then they choose the other person, like, have some damn self-awareness, why aren't you and it's like no,
I think you're missing the point there.
Here's the thing.
Do you know who and what you are?
Exactly.
Not comfortable with what I like.
Exactly. It's precisely what I'm on about.
Are you comfortable with what you like?
Bingo! The person who's out here buying their anime figures, making their displays, taking their photos, putting their anime girls on their car, drawing their anime art, out here
memorizing
with the Figmas and the Nendoroids and the smart dolls, building Gundam models and painting them and taking photos and making these badass dioramas. They know what makes them happy, and they know how to generate positive energy within themselves, and they don't need to go to other people for it. They don't need to pander to other people's basic entertainment needs and they don't have to pander to other people's arbitrary social approval matrix in order to generate positive energy. They do that. Here's how I generate positive energy. You ready for this? You ready for this? I look to my left, and I see Mia, and I see 2 Rias Grimaries, and I see Zero, and I'm like, these are all really nice figures, all very well sculpted. They're great, and then I have some positive energy, or I go into my closet and break out one of the 85 Gundam models I still haven't finished, and I do that, and it becomes easier to generate positive energy when you're specialized and you're into something. You ever heard of the concept called a flow state?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So you're in this state where you're doing something, you're engaged in something you're competent at, and maybe being a little challenged by it, and you kind of get in the zone with it, and you get this upswell of positive energy within you. That's a flow state. And you get in the flow state where you get in the flow state when you specialize, and you feel, it's a method of making you feel good, giving you some positive energy that's external of the social approval, the arbitrary social approval checklist. And that's why a lot of people hate on it, because these people out here have escaped the matrix, and they're not miserable by being disapproved of by these people out here that don't matter, but I really think matter. That's what people hating on it think.
Well, it reminds me of a thing that happened a couple years back when maybe it was Gerald or something from Anime World Order, when they basically made the comment about how it's finally something I can show to my parents.
No. He goes, it was the Red Line review. It was like, thank God there's finally something I could show another anime I could show other people.
And I'm just like, who the fuck watches stuff like that? Like, I mean, I get if you want to show something you enjoy to other people. I get that. But why would you liking something depend upon that? Like unless, would you not watch stuff on your own?
Like social approval matrix. And
do your parents have to screen your CDs to make sure there's no naughty words?
It's that whole I feel like I need approval by what I consider the authority on life.
Well, I also think it has something to do with the fact that they're trying to legitimize this thing to people who don't care.
That's the social approval matrix on, incidentally talking about Redline, that's the social approval matrix on hyperspeed, on friggin' steam light, whatever they burn in Redline to make the car have a seizure and go super fast.
I mean, it's a weird. I don't understand that mentality. I mean, the
medium of anime,
but
they're embarrassed.
I'm saying that I don't understand that because I fairly get along with my parents and whatnot, but I don't fucking watch my entertainment with them. Like you know, that's an absurd idea to me.
Well, I get where it's coming from. I don't respect it, but I understand.
Well, yeah, that's like the thing is, I get where it comes from. It's retarded, but I get it.
They're deep in the social approval matrix, and they're to a level where people who arbitrarily seem to have usurped authority above whatever, those are the people they want to please with anime as a medium, which is why you see a lot of people trying to shove moe and moe fans into the corner. You know, that whole argument that's gone for over a decade.
Make them look bad.
Well, here's the thing though. If the thing you're interested in and knee deep in you think makes you look bad, maybe it's time to leave. Rather than ask it to try to change for you.
Well,
like the aspects of the medium you do enjoy. And guess what? You get plenty of that too.
Yeah, but the thing is that doesn't matter because they have to explain the other crap to these people. And they don't want to do that.
Yes,
the real thing is that they don't have to explain the other crap to these people.
But they feel like they do.
These people think they're nerds anyway. So
yeah. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah, but the whole
anytime there's some story in the news about some, like when that Rayplay game was out, you know, it's like, oh no, now I have to explain this to
I got a new one.
Well, here's the
BBC Doki Doki Literature Club thing.
Yeah, which is equally stupid. But
yes,
here's the thing.
It was utterly stupid.
That's a surface level problem.
Oh, it is, because like nobody I know that's really into this has ever expressed this opinion. Like nobody I know has ever been like, I went to visit my parents and I brought a copy of Strike Witches.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who does that? Like, I don't know anybody who's ever done that.
Well, so here's the thing. I was president of my college's anime club for a few years. And in that position, it fell to me on multiple occasions to explain anime to potential students and parents and members of the faculty. And that was just my responsibility because I was president of the anime club. So the assumption is that I know some shit about anime.
And thus I had to explain Yusuga no Sora.
Yeah, exactly. But so
and how it wasn't censored.
So that responsibility fell on me, and it wasn't really that hard because what these people are paranoid about is that people are going to get into anime and they're going to discover the seedy underbelly of all this stuff. And number one, that doesn't happen. You don't really discover ecchi anime on accident. I don't know who that's happened to, but I don't know how you could look at preview images at High School DxD and think this looks wholesome. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that happens to a whole lot of people.
No,
but they're paranoid about it because
that's almost as flimsy as an excuse as the guy falling on the girl in the actual shows.
Yeah. So they're paranoid about that because they're still stuck in the social approval matrix of, okay, if people look askance at me because I'm into anime, that's gonna bring negative energy into my internal state. So I don't want that because I still haven't internalized the fact that none of these people really matter. So now my course of action is to try and stop people as much as I can from being into ecchi anime because
I would love to ask these people why they think. I would love to pick the brains of people like Daryl Surratt and other people.
Yeah, but he clearly thinks we're Nazis, so that's not going to happen.
I don't know. Maybe his ding dong just doesn't work anymore.
Well,
Daryl specifically said moe because it's not real. It's a facade of love. That's his answer.
It's not love. Hello.
We know. Does he think people don't know that?
Well, because he's thinking of the people in Japan, which is actually a very few of the ones that are actually carrying their pillows around.
Well, here's the thing though. Anime is okay. This is not something that anime fans want to hear, probably, but the average person in Japan doesn't watch this stuff.
No, they don't.
Or anime in general. And if they do, it's really normie shit.
It's crayon.
It's like Crayon Shin-chan or something like that.
What's the one that's the longest running one?
That's what I was actually thinking of.
Which doesn't resemble anime the way we think anime.
Right, but my point is this stuff is not. People don't come home from school and watch this stuff. That's not real, or it's not Saturday. You don't see High School DxD, since I used that earlier, on Saturday mornings or whatever.
Which is funny because
when everybody got into it, they thought that. But
I thought, the Guyver, because it was multiple episodes. I thought, this is what people watch in Japanese TV.
That's one of those. There was a really funny joke that somebody had pointed out where it had just a big old collage of images from just tons and tons of anime, largely from 90s and early 2000s stuff, because that's around when it was made. And it had the little Fight Club joke on there. It's we were told that anime was full of mecha, cute girls, and da-da-da-da-da. Turns out it's not, and we're slowly learning that fact. And we're really pissed off. talking about Japan in general.
Yeah.
And that was pretty comical because I think when most people get into this stuff, depending on what age it is, I was like 12, maybe 11. You have this kind of idea of what it is like over there, and it's totally fucking not like that. But it's like, oh, it's this wonderful, mysterious kind of land, you know, with this. And again, the more you know about the place, it's totally not like that. But, you know, the illusion is there for a lot of people early on.
Did you know there's penny vending machines all over?
Yeah, they make it sound like, you know, your average, you know, 7-Eleven has them. You know, it's like, not really. That's kind of one of those urban myths of sorts. I mean, they do exist, but
they did exist one time. But
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's been passed around to the point where people, like, okay, I give you another example of an urban legend that still floats around. It's that popping your knuckles gives you arthritis.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Total bullshit. The sound is not even your knuckles; it's fucking molecules popping.
Yeah, it's the gas. It's the gases in the.
In the tissue popping. It's totally. It has nothing to do with that. But that still to this day is a bit of an old wives' tale that's floating around.
Yeah.
I mean, even some people in my family believe that, which is ridiculous. But and it's like, no, you don't science right. That's not, you know, that's not what's going on there. Stop that. But at the same time, there's little things like that about Japan that are still floating around too.
Yeah, so that's when I see the kind of people shitting on people who for liking this thing too much. It's like I feel bad for the guy getting shit on, sure. But what I
feel worse for the person doing it because their life must be totally empty.
Because it's like, dude, whoa, what's wrong? You're gonna be okay, dude.
It also comes from
everything okay because you're what you're doing right now makes no sense at all.
You seem awfully concerned for somebody else.
You seem
in a way that does not really correlate to reality.
In a way that comes off as really unhealthy and indicative of something that's gone significantly wrong in your life.
It also comes from a very puritanical aspect, even if it's not religious based.
No, I know what you mean. It's woven into the fabric of society. It's not like necessarily because there's people that aren't religious at all that still hold on to a lot of really obnoxious puritanical kind of viewpoints.
Yeah. It basically affects negative people.
I would incorporate that sort of thing into the whole social approval matrix thing, just on a different level.
Actually it would be because it's like, you know, these people are making it look bad because they like the stuff that's perverted, and you know, because it's perverted, they like the perverted. I get lumped in with those perverted people, and my thing is, you should learn to own up to your own interests and not worry about what the larger group of, you know.
Not only that, but at some point there needs to be sort of a kind of a knock. The whole, I don't know, even the term pervert itself is sort of got a strange connotation to it because it's often seemingly lumped in with crime now. Rather than just like, you know, somebody who likes smut.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing where, okay, we got to vilify people who like stuff we don't like now. Because, because we're too caught up in, again, the social approval thing to just go like, okay, let's play it out. So say one of these people introduces someone to anime and the nightmare scenario occurs, and they discover
they accidentally rent Ica or something.
Yeah, exactly. They discover Agent Ica, and
dun,
they go
dun,
up and say, "Oh,
Studio Fantasia."
I wasn't expecting this out of anime. So someone with a spine would go,
that exists.
Yeah, that exists. It's not what I'm into, but there are anime like that out there, and maybe
if you are into it, there's plenty of it.
Or maybe I could help you avoid those titles if you don't like seeing them.
It's really, how is that any different than like video games and their rating systems and all that crap? Like how can't you just like, hey, this video game is nasty and gory and stuff, and I don't like that sort of thing. Well, then don't play it and don't play games like it. Are you going to condemn video games as a whole?
And again, maybe I can help you avoid seeing more anime like that.
Don't buy things from Rockstar Games. I don't know.
Or let's continue with the nightmare scenario. Hey, I discovered this anime called Aika, and like the person we're talking about is like in a cold sweat now because oh shit, they discovered this pervy anime I've been trying to suppress for the past 10 years.
What's another anime with lots
then the
of
person like say, hey,
yeah, that would be the funniest outcome. I totally love this shit.
Do you know more anime like this? I want to see I want to drop some goggles over my head and see panties 24/7. This is amazing.
And then you'd just be like, well, there were 2 sequels of this very franchise. You are in luck.
They made a spiritual successor called Nautical Blitz Tactics,
which is actually comical.
So the guy's in a cold sweat, and then the person he's been trying to hide ecchi anime from goes like, let's go, more panty shots. And now this is like when you feed an AI a logical fallacy, because this doesn't compute. It's like, whoa, I've been here for the past decade plus in living in this social approval haze with these goggles over my face telling me what I can and can't do. And this guy who I actively tried to steer away from, who I actively tried to gaslight into believing this stuff doesn't exist, found out about it and likes it unapologetically.
Well, yeah, it's like maybe if you didn't show boring stuff,
Well, okay, I'm not gonna say that, because there's plenty of shows out here that the hardcore anti-ecchi people trying to shove ecchi and moe under the rug people that are really good. But I'm saying,
oh, I know.
They introduced people to anime, tried to hide ecchi from them, and they discovered it surreptitiously, or serendipitously, and it turns out they like it. Now our guy number 1 is forced to reevaluate every life decision he's made with regards to anime, because everything he knows has just been proven wrong, because he's been stuck in this social approval bullshit for the past decade.
Although there is one thing
doesn't know how to engage with someone who enjoys things unapologetically. Even people who they tried to groom into being just like them.
That is an unfortunate choice of words, considering some of the stuff going on here.
Choice of words.
But okay, I'll give you guys an idea. I'm sure you've seen this, or I doubt you've experienced it, but I'm sure you've seen it. One thing that's real fun at a con is when you see somebody that's really nervous but wants to buy porn. That's always comical to me.
See, I don't even encounter that. Like, if those people exist, they're invisible to me. Because all I see when I go to cons is people crowd around the faku table or crowd around the hendane table. Like there's no room at the hendane table.
Oh, there never is. It's like fucking
insert yourself into the
Royal Rumble. Like,
queue.
You expect to be fucking body slammed by somebody at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the reason I like cons a whole lot, is because
you like to be body slammed.
Yeah, I love being body slammed, but it's because it's full of people who are pretty unapologetic about the stuff they're doing, stuff they're engaging in, stuff they're buying, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
yeah, I mean, you don't see it a lot, but sometimes you can spot the person. They're kind of sheepish, kind of like, it's like, I'm gonna do this, but I think they're worried that somebody's going to say something weird to them.
Oh, but listen, when the last I went to the Faku. No, not Faku. Hendane.
If anything, they usually say something funny.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
asked them, "Do you have Show Bitch by Salad?" And it was like, "No, we could."
I could have answered that question for you, VC.
I know.
But I can just see one of the guys. Are you trolling me?
But yeah, that's what I like about.
Actually, his answer was, "No, it would be illegal to sell this."
Yeah.
Nah.
Wah.
That it's just when you go to a convention, it's full of people who specialize.
Oh yeah.
And you see that
Booths
a lot.
alone are pretty much examples of this.
Exactly. You see that whenever you go into a booth, especially booths that specialize. But you'll see, I was like people watching while shopping, of course. And it's like
people underestimate the value and entertainment of people watching.
Oh yeah, but I'm looking at the Asylum Anime booth. I believe it was Asylum Anime.
Or that's the art book one. I am very familiar with them.
A lot of art books, but
they sell cells too.
Yeah, that's an exact. I saw a surprising number of people browsing through animation cells.
Yep. I mean, I've seen a few that I almost bought myself. Just because it's like, oh wow, I can't believe this is over here.
Yeah, exactly. Like animation, and that's a pretty hardcore specialization.
Oh yeah, and another one are Dakimakura collectors.
Dakimakura is another.
And here's what I mean by that. I mean, I'm talking. They're expensive as fuck. Depending on where you live, they might be hard to get.
Yeah, exactly.
There was this one collector, like years back. I remember. Huh? Excuse me.
And he had more than one.
Oh yeah, he had fucking hundreds of them.
Oh yeah.
Like buy multiple ones. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think he was from Ireland of all places. And he took pictures, and it's like, holy fuck, he's got a lot of these. And yes, they were all pornographic.
Naturally.
And apparently he had run into some customs problems occasionally.
Of course.
Still didn't stop him, but so, but like every week he had seemingly every weekend he would have like new arrivals or something. And it was weird to look at because it was just, he'd have so many of them. It's like, where do you store these? It's like, do you do it like pop them into like an actual storage unit and then hope that fucking Storage Wars doesn't occur? Anybody who's seen that knows why that's funny. It's like, what do we have in here? Oh, we can't show that on TV.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing about specialization is like, it's something you're dedicated to, usually costs some money. And you have to have a certain level of pride with it. It's like you're not gonna. You have to abandon shame in order to collect Dakimakura.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen.
In order to be all up with the Faku booth and all that, like you have to be like me rolling up to the Faku booth and be like, I'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one.
Did you see the guy?
Will that be cash or credit? It's like, oh yeah, it's like I got cash.
Did
you see the guy that was graduating? He had the Nico Dakimakura.
No, but that guy's a hero.
That's kind of interesting.
Actually, speaking of graduation, wait one. You have to have a certain level of dedication to put the Xeon logo on your graduation hat.
Actually, I could see you getting a lot of trouble wearing that around in some places.
Perhaps nowadays.
I have to tell people that are going.
The Nazi thing took off. I'm actually kind of sort of surprised that I that I didn't get any accusations while I was at Anime Boston, rolling around in the Neo Zeon outfit?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, one is a real obvious one that's going to look real stupid, but the other thing that's going to be funny is though, little tip, this coming Otakon, probably a bad idea to wear it.
Yeah, probably a bad idea for reasons we detailed earlier on in this episode.
Probably going to get you mistaken for a couple of idiots. Are you okay, VZ?
So you have to have a certain level of shame abandonment in order to specialize. Especially, well, okay, and there's still this thing that I see going around where it's like, oh, you have a lot of half-naked anime girl figures. What happens when a girl comes in your room?
Quite frankly, I only date women who are cool with that.
Bingo! Bingo! Be a good judge of character.
Mission successful.
Don't date people who are so shallow that they're gonna shit on you. Well, as a callback, don't date people who are so caught up in the social approval matrix that they're gonna shit on you for having.
It's like that's hardly the only thing that would ring alarm bells for some people. It's like, look at my music collection. It's like fucking like normies aren't exactly going to be too thrilled with Morbid Angel and so forth.
Well, the thing with the anime figures and Dakimakura is a thing for this too, is that it's visual and it's out there and it's very clearly like half naked girls. Like,
or on posters or whatever.
Actually,
you know what's really funny about that?
A while ago, I got into a pretty heated argument about this on the Faku forums.
Oh, are you talking about the one thing with the one chick?
Yeah, the one thing with the one chick.
What's funny is you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but and the whole thing it was, and my whole thing was, if it gets to that point where I'm bringing a girl home, she probably by that point she already knows about the anime figures and the Dakimakura without even having to see them.
Like first off, holy crap, are you gonna really try to conceal that? like first off, that's not only gonna be difficult, but that's a stupid thing to try to conceal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's gonna end up biting you in the ass if you do. Yeah. Because you're gonna have to give up probably one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like that one guy, that one artist, VZ.
Yes! That pissed me off so bad.
That gave up his art because he started dating a girl who I guess ostensibly wasn't... that either he was afraid she wouldn't approve of it, or she just straight up didn't approve of it. Yeah. And he quit doing his art because he's out here with this girl. And I mean...
Like put it this way.
Give you an 85% guarantee that relationship has failed.
In my private room, my bedroom, the master room, where I have basically my entertainment center and all that. I don't even hide my shit. Like my manga and stuff that of the uncouth nature. It's not even fucking hidden. It's just sitting right there. I don't give a fuck. It's like, hey, you're coming into my area. If you don't like it, get out.
Yeah, this is my space. Listen.
It's like, that's not really my problem.
Well, here's the thing. At the risk of sounding crass, these anime figures were here before you. Sorry.
That reminds me of that. It's like I love you, honey, but Daddy also loves Star Trek. And to be fair, Star Trek was your first. That's really stupid.
These anime figures will still be around long after you and I are here.
And listen, these things are made of PVC. These are going to be around for a while.
I will be a corpse.
On a physical level, they're going to be around for a very long time. But on a more metaphysical level, they're going to, if you leave, they will still be here. So
it's like the ending. It's like the ending of End of Evangelion, where it's like when the O1 is flying in space, is floating.
Oh yeah,
to prove mankind's existence.
Yeah, it also proves that we're horribly fucked up, but
yeah, it's your. I
just got this funny visual.
I understand the hang up.
I do.
Not okay. I don't
respect
with it. Yeah. Well, I can even respect it, but at the same time, if you're not okay with it, it's not going to work.
Well, how about this?
This stuff is important to me.
If you have to lie to yourself about who you really are,
yeah,
that relationship ain't going nowhere.
It's not going to work. And to a certain extent, for me in particular, this is a career for me. Because you're not to deal with friggin' anime figures in the room and shit. Yeah, deal with anime figures in boxes in some warehouse. All right, so that's something in talking about that particular situation. We're talking about girls and them being turned off by anime figures for no reason. That's gonna have to be a consideration.
Well, one of the things that cracked me up when I was at a panel for Toshio Maeda is that somebody asked him what does his wife think of the stuff he does, which for those keeping score at home, Toshio Maeda is largely responsible for what we think of as tentacle smut.
Yep.
And
also Anthony Bourdain.
What now?
There was an episode where Anthony Bourdain interviewed him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, somebody asked him, well, "What does your wife think of that?" Because he's married, and his response made me fucking lose my shit. He did the thing where he's like, he like did like kind of lowered his head slightly. And like he started shifting his eyes back and forth, like and like he's looking at something like and doesn't want you to see. Like, and he's like, she doesn't know. And you can see afterwards he's trying to fight back laughter.
Exactly.
Which is totally bullshit because in the artist thing when he was actually drawing stuff for people, she was right next to him. But it, again, he has a really good sense of humor in general. I mean, he really did because. I mean, like, how many Japanese guys would openly state, I fucking hated school?
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatnot. And wonderfully was talking about somebody, I can't remember who it was now, but I think it was somebody who worked on Space Battleship Yamato.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about that asshole ripped off Leiji Matsumoto.
I know. Probably talking about the niche.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was just funny. Well, that's not what he said. He said, like, he ripped off Leiji Matsumoto. He's how you Americans would call asshole.
I know because the company West Cape was involved with the Yorusuke Doji anime.
And it was very comical. I mean, he was really funny. I mean, like, holy shit. Like, even the guys that I brought with me who weren't really necessarily, I think they went because I prodded them. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you're going to this or I'm going alone, basically. Right. Because they brought me to a few too. And that's one of those things you got to compromise on if you're a group sometimes. If you want to stay in said group. Especially when there's a lot of people, it's easy to get lost and shit. Anyway. I prodded people to go there and that they were not disappointed.
Yeah, that sounds like a great panel.
Oh, it was and it was recorded too. So, look up Anime Expo 2013 for that. It might be floating around because it was recorded. It was recorded for sure.
See, I only get people going up to Tomino saying, as a future writer and is a future writer and creator or whatnot. And it's like asking about how can I blah blah blah. And I was like,
that's such a pretentious way to preface your question. By the way,
you don't go up to the man. That's exactly. You don't go up to the man who was there since Astro Boy. It's like you're nothing to him. You're a peon.
That's not even my thing. But it's like, what would you like? What kind of advice would you give to an up and coming writer?
And I could just see him going. I could just see his response to, "Don't make things while you're depressed."
Yeah. But that's a good way to phrase that question. As a future writer, how would I know? It's such a ridiculous
like if he wasn't. Imagine if he wasn't Japanese though, because they're usually polite even when they're like.
Yeah.
Can't you just see like some asshole being like, as a future writer, what would you recommend? You're not going to be no writer.
Well, the reason why I was cringy is because he was dressed as a Naruto character, and it's like,
ouch.
I maybe a few years ago I would have shot on that, but I can't. Like, I'm far outside that paradigm.
Here's what would have been cringy if he showed up in a really badly designed Gundam costume. like the thing where it's just like a box painted or.
Well, okay, I can't even hate on that. What I would hate on is if he showed up in a well-made but badly designed Gundam costume.
No. If he showed up as a brain-powered character, or Garzy's wing,
he'd probably just have him ejected.
That's why.
Security, remove that man, please.
That's why I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to get up there.
You were asked about Garzy's wing.
I didn't. Yeah, well, exactly. I didn't want to.
He got removed. Gotten picked up and removed.
Can't you just hear like a little intercom coming on?
It's like, what would I ask the man? It's like it would only be something about. So tell me, what went wrong with Garzy's wing, or what's your Garzy's wing?
I'm just like it's like. So you really thought brain power was going to take off?
It's going to be the next Evangelion.
I kind of feel like that's what I did with. I was in an interview with John St. John, who does the voice of Duke Nukem. But he also did the voice of Big the Cat from Sonic Adventure. That's what I wanted to know about.
That reminds me so much on like if you have the Simpsons DVDs, the season box sets. They all have commentary on them. And yes, I'm one of those guys who watches those. Fuck off. I do it. And the one thing is that I loved were when they were announcing themselves and he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Matt Groening, creator of Millhouse." And that always just, it's stupid, but it still elicited a laughter out of me pretty much every time. Because he would just always pick like some more minor character that just was really stupid, Like, "Hi, I'm Matt Groening. I created Sideshow Bob," which thank you for that.
If it was Tomino Bay, "Hi, I'm Yoshiki Tomino. I thought it was Memphis."
No, I'm Tomino, and I kill characters a lot.
But yeah, the last point I want to make about specializing is that
even I don't know what Reconquista and G is about.
I just thought it was practical to have a toilet in these things. Come on, it makes sense. Like, especially if you see something bad, you can shit right there.
But the last point I want to make about specializing is, to some extent, it enriches your life.
Not to make it sound like it's a self-help book or anything.
Not to make it sound like a woo-woo self-help thing.
Or Tony Robbins
but to bring it back to the previous point, it allows you to generate positive energy without having to appeal to the bullshit social approval paradigm.
Right. And like I said, that's why I kind of use the rocket terminology or analogy rather. Of the parts kind of flying off, because those parts are the constraints of of said social approval.
Well, they allow you to escape the atmosphere.
That too. Or you can look at it the other way, as in a similar thing, but drilling down and parts of it flying off.
Right.
Dig deep.
But it allows you to generate that positive energy to some extent on your own.
A slight thing in the chat. George says, "I'm getting Urobuchi. I make people you love suffer." Well, his nickname is Urobutcher, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Morning Rise has arguably even a better one. If I could ask Urobuchi anything, I'd ask him what made him think up Sayano Uta. That's a good question. Clearly, he's been under the influence of some Lovecraft. I mean, I have to believe that. Seriously, though, if you've never read the synopsis of that, do so. Even if you don't want to play it. Because it will do one of two things. You'll be curious to play it, or you will be mortified to the point of, nope. As all games of that nature should be.
But yeah, so for an example, I'm getting into this thing where like I'm slowly making elements of my life more and more anime. Like I walk around, I own the hat that Asuka wear after that Asuka wears in Ava 3.3.
Do you, when you run out and you're late somewhere, do you run out of the house with a piece of
toast in your mouth? Yeah. Or have you considered putting on the eye patch? Or no. Like I said, do you announce that you are indeed a Gundam?
I'm not at that level yet. But it's like
when you talk to people, do you say, "I came here to laugh at you"?
I've done that before.
I wish I had more situations where that was
where that's applicable. Another one that's really fun to do is blame it on the misfortune of your birth. What's funny is when you say that to people who have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. They think they're like, what did you say to me?
Yeah.
Even my own dad doesn't hit me.
But
I found the problem.
I'm looking into doing the anime girls all over the car thing.
So no, see what's great about the way you phrase that is it made it sound like you're actually having sex with the anime girls on your car.
Yeah, this is the con orgy.
Yeah, the con orgy. It's happening in my Mercedes.
We're talking about going deep. That's the con orgy.
Oh yeah. Remember that game, Dig Dug?
But yeah, and stuff like art books. Stuff
which, by the way, Asylum Anime is a really good place for those.
Oh yeah, that's if I'm not mistaken, that's where I got the World Witches series art book.
I got some of the. I did get some of the. I know I got some Tony Taka art books from him.
Lovely.
From there, and had a good chat with him about it. It's like, oh, I love this guy's stuff. Like, I mean, one of which had all the like designs and stuff for Sorno Iro. Mizuno Iro, and it had like all the like basic like line art and a bunch of stuff,
right?
Including like some of the more fun and what's the word here? Inventive positions. Like hunched over a table and okay, whatever. Anyway,
but yeah, it's like it allows you to fill your life with cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, I even got like those Gundam art books too, like the actual mecha.
I've got one of those. Yep.
Do you have the same one I do that has like Char on the cover and his Char's counterattack picture?
Mine's just a Zeta Gundam.
I got one of those too, which is probably my favorite one of those, just simply for the fact that the designs are so fucking intricate and ridiculous. Yeah. I can see why the toys were hard for those.
And the nature of specialization is that it's kind of a thing that never really stops unless you want it to.
Right. And not only that, but a lot of this really stupid shit is not involved in that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know any other Satoshi Urushihara like fanboys or girls that are screaming about privilege or something. Yeah, or about white people or xenophobia or any of that crap. That's not really part of it.
And likewise, I don't know a whole lot of anime figure collectors, or moreover, like I would guarantee you there are like no people who out here spending a couple $1,000 putting anime girls all over their car who are gonna shit on you for like an anime girls.
Oh no, that would be utterly ridiculous. It's interesting when
there's a mutual respect when you specialize to that level.
Oh yeah,
where it's a difficult thing to do, potentially because it's a dedication check, and to a certain extent it's a disposable income check, to where if you're not super dedicated, you're spending this money on something else, something probably more important. But if you have the money and you're dedicated enough, then you're able to in not to really portray it this way, but you're able to get into kind of this exclusive club, and you have a level of respect among people in that club because you're able to pass that barrier to entry.
Right. And what's interesting is, since you made the reference to people doing that with their cars, one other thing that's interesting about that to me is when they do it with one specific character and they just plaster them all over the fucking place.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the people that buy specifically one character.
That's interesting too to me, because like you'll have someone, I'll give you one that's really popular, like Saber from the Fate Stay Night franchise.
Yeah. I know a guy who's that guy with Saber.
Yeah, I know a girl that's that girl with Saber.
Yeah, exactly.
Like from years back, and like, but I've always found that fascinating. And like Sneaky, of course, is a big Lucky Star guy.
Yep.
You couldn't tell that, could you? I mean, also likes armpits, but that's neither here nor there. He's a degenerate, just like all of us. A proud tag.
But yeah, it's when you're able to satisfy the requirements to enter into a certain segment of fandom properly, you immediately gain some level of respect from those people who are already there, because you're able to have the dedication to be there in the first place, which is why you don't see like Itasha people shitting on other anime fans for some stupid bullshit. And this is why you don't see a whole lot of anime figure people shitting on other anime figure people.
I mean,
for some stupid bullshit.
I mean, let's be honest. If you're spending thousands of dollars on these figures, you crapping on somebody for liking porn or something is going to look really ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
So there's like VZ said before, there's an element of self-awareness with specializing, with knowing what you're into and being dedicated with what you're into and not apologizing about it.
Just basically throwing caution to the wind, 2 middle fingers up.
And when you like know the history of more than one thing, you kind of see how they intersect.
It all kind of ties in. Or
yeah. You know the connections.
You start seeing those Venn diagrams.
And you say like, oh, it's not a happy accident. These things happen.
No, and that's always interesting when you find, like, when you're digging around in the history of things and you spot things like that, because then it's like the family tree is becoming more rooted, for lack of a better term, and you start to see where all the branchings off really happen and all that good stuff. Deep bloodlines and all that crap.
Yeah. And
deep is the key word here.
That kind of like knowledge specialization.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of that's kind of a different thing to me, because that's something that you need to pick someone's brain in order to really know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that gets vilified a lot, because that ends up being a whole gatekeeping thing.
Gray far
where kind of the only way to know if anyone has that level of knowledge is to quiz them.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like a couple of years ago at AB, where we're in the hotel room, and this one girl this one girl challenged my honor. And so I had to step up and say and prove my level of knowledge, which I'm fine doing because I have that level of knowledge. But I can get where people think that's kind of a not savory thing to do.
Right,
which is why I like a visual specialization, and being into anime figures or doing the anime car thing or being an artist.
But yeah, I mean, that's another thing though. The only people who really have a problem with this, with quote unquote being inquisitive like that, are people that don't know anything.
Right.
Seemingly. Yeah. I mean, at worst, it's a little off-putting just because if you have like social anxiety or something.
Yeah.
But nobody who actually knows anything about this stuff usually cares. They're willing to divulge their info.
Well, and to a certain extent, it goes back to my example with this one girl I know and if you looked at her collection and stuff, she's very clearly into anime, but has problems with proper nouns and stuff. So she might fail the quiz, but she probably owns more anime figures than whoever's quizzing her does.
Mm-hmm. I get your point, and I see what you're talking about. Again, that's sort of the unfortunate side effect of not being able to articulate what you like about stuff sometimes.
Yeah, which is something we all need to work on.
That's actually something I could personally understand.
No, I understand that. Not everybody's good at it.
I've gotten better about it though.
I mean, it and sometimes it actually is difficult, because sometimes it really is a pretty surface level thing you might like something for. I mean, I'll give you a primary example of that, like Infinite Stratos. I like a couple characters and their designs in that. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have any high-minded like, oh, I think the concept is strikingly brilliant and original, no. I just like a couple characters and their designs. It really doesn't go much further than that.
Chicago. They're lesbians. They got big.
Hey, let's not be knocking on that.
No. Actually, that show is pretty good.
No, it's dumber than a box. It's dumber than a box or a sack of doorknobs. But but that's not why you're watching it. I mean, it does have the whole Ninja Clans angle, which is, I guess, sort of a fun catalyst for it.
It's actually a show in the fall season that you're gonna like, K-Gods.
I remember when we kind of looked over the list, I saw a couple of things that looked like they might be interesting.
There's one called, well, this is for the fall one, called Release the Spice.
Is that by Emerald?
And they're like ninja girls. And
it's like Emerald, Release the Spice, and there'll be a character just named Bam.
And also the reason,
Bam.
It's the character designer for Yuri Namori.
Mm-hmm.
It's the character it's the manga. It's the mangaka as the character designer for Yuri.
Right.
So they're going to have round, kind of plushy faces.
Yeah. I mean, the main girl looks like Akari.
Okay. That's an interesting thing. Not to go off on a tangent too much, but I guess it could kind of tie into it too. If you're really, in particular, into someone's specific style or work, like I'll give you an example. somebody that has a really distinct like style. Akira Toriyama is a good one because you'll never confuse his stuff with someone else's. It all has. I mean, I know, yeah, some people complain it looks samey. It's like, well, that's because it's his style. I mean, people complain about Poro's works all looking the same too. Although, you know what I mean, though? I mean, there are some people that are really into specific authors or artists or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're kind of, I don't like saying they're fanboys or whatever, but, you know, they're dedicated aficionados of said person. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Like, I'm really big into Satoshi Urushihara. I really like their art style and works and whatnot. I have numerous art books.
Love Plastic Little.
It's very fun to watch.
It's got very little plot, but man.
Oh no, it's like a 45-minute OVA one shot.
Yep.
And looks nice. Has the best bathing scene I think in all of anime.
Oh yes.
And that actually is pretty comical. Don't you just love it how she notices the dude like in the scuba gear moving around, and then she's just like Shine.
Yeah.
And then he just gets electrocuted. That's really funny. But the detail is just striking. And yeah, I mean, and did numerous video game art too, specifically for Langrisser.
Yep.
A lot of good stuff there. I actually have a couple of art books of him, like I said, and I try to collect stuff from him and Tony Taka. I also really like Boshi's works as well. I've started collecting those too.
Yeah, that's another specialization when you know about the character designers.
Yeah, or if you're specifically talking about doujins like circles. Because I mean, like I'll give you one that I guarantee you both know who they are, and I'm sure some listeners do too. Black Dog.
Yeah,
I've heard that name.
Yep. Names most of his stuff after songs or bands. Like, you know, one's called Pearl Jam.
Right.
There's one called Superfly, and you know, Green Day, and you get the idea. I mean, his name itself is a Led Zeppelin song. So, there you go. But no, there's all kinds of different areas of this sort of thing. I mean, like, it's sort of a tangent, but Anubis is really big into airsoft.
Yeah.
And
I do a lot of
that kind of falls into that.
Yeah, I do a lot of integrating that with anime as well. So I'm getting the patches.
Big into the mecha moe.
The moe military. Aesthetic.
Mecha musume kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, this is all breaking it down further and further. I guarantee you there's no such thing as a hardcore Strike Witches fan that thinks ecchi is bad.
No, there are. They do exist. They're only into like the light novels, but they hate anime because they hate ecchi.
Wow, that's bizarre.
Yeah, these are people who actually exist.
I'm just gonna stop talking because that throws me for a loop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I doubt any hardcore Divergent Eve fans are like that.
Yes,
if you can find one. Seriously, those had to be designs for something else.
But yeah, it's you look for.
Dude, I'm still having a what moment here. Like, I can't believe that exists.
Oh yeah, no.
Wow,
it's dumb, but it exists.
Just I can't even. It broke me.
But yeah, in conclusion,
it even made my mouth stop hurting for a little bit. Like, what?
Find something you like within the otaku culture and specialize in that thing, because you'll have a much better time of it.
Broaden your horizons. Diversify your bonds. But
somebody
had to do it.
It's like, just pick something and go all in, like go as far all in as you can. Pick something you like, some aspect of the anime fandom, the otaku culture that you like, and
don't stop till you hit the cervix.
Yeah. Where's the drop in? That's Google. That's not the drop in.
It's Google, man.
Drop in.
He can't find the drop in, so
Sex is bad. Stop talking about it.
But yeah, find what you really like and just jump in, because you'll find a much more positive environment doing that.
For sure. Like I said, you don't really see a lot of that. I mean, depending on what it is, sometimes you'll run across fans that are really hardcore that are actually crazy, for lack of a better term. Like, have you ever met somebody that likes a show and like they freak out if there's lewds of it?
Yeah,
and they act really, really asshole-ish about it.
Yeah,
like, they can't just ignore it. They actually actively get pissy about it.
I've heard, Zach.
I find generally that those people are surface level people.
Like I'll give you a primary example. Like I've seen this stuff kind of happen with something like K-On!
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's pretty easy to avoid most of that. But it's not fair to everybody else for you to dictate that, you're not allowed to like something like that.
Yeah, that's a surface level problem.
Zach was surprised to find that there were, pornographic dojins of Cardcaptor Sakura.
You must be new here.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit, I've known that since I was fucking like a teenager. Somebody cough, Kana, cough. Hey, come on now.
Hey, yeah, guarantee you the people out here complaining about Kana are surface level people.
It's like Anubis said it, I think, best. It's like, have you seen those thighs? I was actually looking at the chat. I just have a visual of Anubis making that smirk that he does, like, that he said when he took his Zero helmet off and was sitting there in the front, like, thing. Like, I love Strike Witches. kind of smirk.
I love Strike Witches. Was this a show? No. No, it's an anime.
Oh yeah, I love Wings. Idiots don't know about Wings. I love the fact that they were sitting naked in a vat of beer.
Yeah.
And talking about Wings, and he just gets up butt naked, just like, fuck this. Fuck you guys. Like, who would do that? Anyway.
Is this the show with the tsundere?
Yeah,
she's hilarious.
The gist is go deep and fucking abandon the surface level.
It's like, did you ever see Gurren Lagann? You gotta dig.
And don't hate people that do.
Get those drills out.
That's the
you know what's great about that, though? One last thing about that. Did you ever read the thing about that show when they were brainstorming for it? They're just like, we got to make something around drills. Like,
I believe that.
And that's literally how it all got the ball rolling. And it's like, you can't use Flameheart's hair. What? Those are drills? Are they not? Okay.
They're more like giant croissants.
All right.
Anyway, that's the show.
Delirium is starting to set in. So.
The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. Hit up VZ stuff at VZMK2, moemekagatai.wordpress.com. Check out iashike.moe because the stuff there is pretty good. Check out shinikiba.moe for all your half-naked anime girl figures. Follow me on Twitter at TAnubis, VZ on Twitter at VZMK2, KGods on Twitter at Immortal_KGods, and the show on Twitter at NTR_radio. Check out the Bakugaijin show and Otaku Midnight because both of those are really good. I don't shout this guy out enough, so check out the Geeky Panda stuff because his stuff is really good as well. NTR Radio is a production of She's Lost Control Media. I'm Tom Forster Nubis.
I'm K-Gods.
I'm VZ Mark 2.
And even though we go back to NTR 101 every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.